Oh, yeah. It is time for basketball action. From Neville Arena, where I'm not right now, but the Auburn Tigers are. And the Florida Gators are there as well. I would like to welcome you guys to another Saturday afternoon, or in Neil's case, Saturday night of Auburn basketball. This is going to be on ESPN2 here in the States. And it's going to be Auburn #1 against Florida, who's probably in the top 10. I don't know exactly what their ranking is. But on KenPom, which is all I care about, I think they're 6. So that's what we're looking at today. Another beautiful day here in central Alabama. It's warm as heck. I think it's going above 80 today. So that's good. And there's probably going to be some of our friends, some of our hoop heads who join us on the show who are probably out living their life with their beautiful wives and their beautiful families. And I wouldn't blame them one damn bit. Thanks for being with me, though, today. It might go into tonight. I don't know. For this showdown game between the Tigers and the Gators. Our first super chat comes through from Feel Like a Stranger. He says, word up, much love, trainers, Swoogans, and Tates. Big one today, my dudes. Let's get one for the 98-99 team, which is being feted or celebrated today at halftime and perhaps another time during the game. I promised some folks on the bunker that I was going to provide pictures from the last time this team got together, and I wasn't able to find them, guys. I've got 3 hard drives full of photos that I took from, 2006-ish till about 2019, and I'm telling you guys, there's a couple 100,000 photos, and I wasn't able to find it. But I definitely have one. I promise you, I someday will find it. Bryant Smith, Doc Robinson, and David Hamilton, a.k.a. Super Crip. 3 of my favorites from that team. Always a good time. Unfortunately, I'm having to watch Louisville on my screen before this Auburn game gets going. I sure wish I could watch the Auburn Tigers right now. Also, Feel Like a Stranger says, so we're going to get this one for the 98-99 team, the 99-2000 team, and Bruce shows Cod Golden who the real Jedi Master is. Do we have another Jedi Master sound? Somewhere we do. I don't know. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
I like to say that when people get a little big-headed, which you have not done, Feel Like a Stranger, nor would you ever do that. Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat, my man, who is Feel Like a Stranger's with us all the time, even on the Bourbon Show that we're still trying to get put back together. Steve is going to be here with us. Says hit the like button, friends. That's what I like to see. The final score prediction is Auburn 78, Florida 76, refs 13. We get a laugh for that one. A loud laugh. Sorry about that. A little bit loud. GW says Louisville Cardinals greater than Las Vegas Raiders. He is always trying to get under my skin with the Raiders digs, and I'm sick of it. But it's okay if you do it, GW, because you've been doing it such a long time and you do it so eloquently. Yo, Malcolm is with us today, one of our great football chatters. Not that you're a bad basketball chatter. I just say you're always a huge presence on our football drains, and glad to have you here with basketball. Yabo, one of our basketball legends. Ravin, who's just a full-time legend, a pillar of the community. We're glad to have you. Hornatius with us today. It says, let us rap about lettuce wrap. Say now. We'll get a laugh for that one, man. We love Hornatius. What a stud. Also, he mentioned on the bunker recently that he has been sober for a long time. I don't want to say how long it's been because I've forgotten exactly. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 months, I believe. Could be longer. And of course, as I pour bourbon, I'm not doing that on purpose, dude. I just want to say I'm proud of you, and you're an absolute stud. I know Hornatius a little bit off the show, and he's a real peach of a human being. Honestly, he's hilarious. If you guys remember when he used to call in and shit, he's an absolute goat. And Ravin, I feel the same way about him too. Hey, Taxman's here as well. Darkside, Taxman, of course, one of the absolute beasts of all time. Darkside with us. Spicy P coming in from his new home on another place. He likes to move around large distances. That's one of his things. You love to see it. Also, super chat coming in from Ravin, the aforementioned, who may live in the state of Florida, or maybe he doesn't. He says, will this be the most physical team we play in conference? I believe so. Although Texas A&M can be that way sometimes, and Missouri can be that way sometimes, although Auburn absolutely summarily dispatched Missouri when they played early this year. How prepped are we for this stretch of games? I mean, as prepped as they're going to be. BP made it clear to everybody they're going to have to be physical today to counteract the things that Florida does on the court. Cassidy P jumps in, who I was texting with earlier. Says, howdy, trainers and fellow swoogans. I feel like Chad Bacon, Lasagna, and Kelly are going to go off in this one. We'll give him one of these.
He's on fire!
We'd love to see that. Maybe Miles Kelly hits a couple threes to get things started and gets Auburn up 20 points in the first 5 minutes. That would be terrific. Let's go ahead and bounce over here to our main page as we wait for Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. Billis, where are you at, Billis? That's what Cliff Ellis used to say to him all the time. This is the scouting report, by the way, on the left there of the Florida Gators, which looks pretty good because the Florida Gators are, in fact, pretty good. 14 defense, 5 offense. You know, Todd Golden, those stats look a lot like Auburn's, and it's because Todd Golden learned a little something working for Bruce Pearl back in the day. Look at this. Neil J. jumping in. I'm going to give him a heating up on that one, man.
He's heating up.
With a super chat coming across the pond. Says, good evening, men of Auburn. He also loves the ladies of Auburn, too, but he's just saying men. All the best to our best trained, best educated, and best equipped. My man. There he is, Neil J. Absolute legend. I got to come up with some kind of a Scottish sound for you. But I appreciate you, man. Absolute stud. And it's just late for him. For us, it's like middle of the afternoon, but for him, it's kind of nighttime. I have those exact headphones that Elijah Martin is using there. He's going to be a game time decision, and it says out today. So he was warming up, as you can see. He was warming up a little more ardently before the game, like maybe an hour before that, and I guess was trying to test that hip. So that's one less downhill attacker for Florida, and that's one of the things they like to do is attack downhill. Now, you look at some of these stats here. Effective, when you look at the offensive side, rebounding. Offensive rebounding, these guys are long, and they go at it. They absolutely go at it. So Auburn's going to have to really work to counteract that, specifically on the defensive end for rebounding, and not give Florida so many second-chance opportunities. Auburn knows how to do that because they're a second-chance opportunity ball club as well. And you can see Florida's effective field goal defense is really good too. Again, length and good defenders, maybe just a half tick down from Tennessee as far as their best defenders, but still a good defensive team. So we're moving on, and this game is now underway with the Auburn Tigers attacking. Looks like we got the usual array of starters here. Janai's going to open with a little mid-ranger from the free throw line and miss that bad boy. So he starts 0 for 1. No big deal. You know, he's going to get his. Walter Clayton, number 1 for Florida, is back. This game, he missed the last game against Vanderbilt with a left ankle injury that he picked up in their game against Tennessee, where they absolutely undressed Tennessee. Little back cut, but great reaction from Dillon to get in the way. That was not a close shot by Walter Clayton there. Jeez. The way that he jumped on that 3-point and the way he kind of jumped away from his ankle was kind of concerning if I was a Florida fan. He looked like he wasn't ready to kind of launch that shot with his left foot at all. Let's see, GW says, if I had just bought that Bitcoin in 2010, I'd have bought you all a ticket to watch Auburn play for the Natty. Oh, man, that would have been awesome if you'd done that. I just wish you wouldn't have had to, given away 3 or 4 for a Pizza Hut pizza like that dude did in Chicago. Paid for his Pizza Hut with Bitcoin. What a goob. Just wait it out a little bit longer, homie. All right, so Miles' first 3 was way short, but he took it from a long way out. I don't understand. That was a very, very interesting drive or move from Janai right there, but he got it to go. I thought he was getting hurt, and then he wasn't. He was just in a weird position there. All right, that's the second time that Florida's beaten Auburn on a high-low pass, and then the second time that Auburn's rim defense was able to shuffle their feet and get in position. The first time it was Dillon. That time it was Janai. Just absolutely amazing defense, and I'm glad they did not call a foul on that because it would have been bullshit because he just got all ball on that. Boy, Janai must really think that he can do some damage against this little dude. He's not little, but he's thin. Boy, Florida's just playing with a lot of energy, but it's not controlled. Nice splash shot there. Was that Clayton? I think it was. No, it was not. That was a nice shot. Kind of a parabolic jumper. Yabo says, boom. Broom room is covered. Oh, my goodness gracious. Chad Bacon Lasagna hits a 3. It looks like he was fouled on the shot, although the Chiron hasn't given him credit for the shot. There it goes right there. It's kind of a double foul in a way because he didn't give him room to land. He had his legs caught up in where his legs were landing, and also hit him on the wrist. So it was one of, you had your choice there. Cassidy P says CBM has nearly patented the 4-pointer. I mean, it's a funny way to put it, but it's actually 100% true on that. He gets probably one of those a game. And you think if you could watch a lot of college basketball games that do not include Chad Bacon Lazara, and there would be 0 game after game after game, and then you watch him and it's 1 or 2 a game. I think it's because he can shoot in such close quarters, like Denver. A lot of these shooters like Denver like to be in rhythm with space, and I don't think Chad really cares. He doesn't need to be in space per se. All right, there's our first offensive rebound, although he lost it out of bounds. But that's the kind of stuff Todd Golden's going to be like, you had perfect position. Get your hands on the ball and hold it, bro. There's Matty Crouch right there, the replay official. Down by the Florida bench on that one. Matty Crouch, of course, absolute legend, friend of the show, and all-around badass. Auburn really pressuring those DHOs. Denver in particular right there, just kind of messing up their distribution, and Dillon's pushing way out, pushing against those screens. Now, they hit the 3 right there, but I thought the defense was great, and that was a low-quality shot in my opinion. So defensively, I feel like that was job done, but they still hit the points. All right, this is a play that, well, that was a similar machination to what Auburn used against many, many years ago against Syracuse. Oh, nice finish from Miles Kelly on the drive right there. Absorbed the contact. It was considered benign contact, and then he just finished with his left hand. You love to see it. Auburn still pressuring those DHOs, but got picked a little bit on that one. This is a tough defensive assignment right now for Miles Kelly, but he was able to get the defensive rebound. Auburn's defensive rebounding has been really up to the task so far. I mean, we're only 4 minutes in. We got a media timeout coming up at the next stoppage. Now, they're pressuring the DHOs as well, and Miles is going to splash that bad boy. Oh, that was a good shot. I love the movement on that. Auburn's movement on the attacking end has been really good. Yeah, they're going to let him shoot. Oh, my goodness. Now, that was a beautiful little roll off that high screen for Florida, and he had a wide-open shot from 12 and just bricked it. Chad Bacon Lasagna. Another turnaround. Auburn is coming out on fire. Fire. I'm surprised Todd didn't call a timeout, but I think he's just going to wait. I think a lot of coaches would have called a timeout right there. That was a really nice pass, and he still bricked it, man. And statistically, another defensive rebound for Auburn for Dylan Cardwell. Boy, if he'd have hit that, oh, my God. Would have gone crazy in Neville. There he is. T-Park coming in with a super chat. My man says, Kelly splash, 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 and early Ward M. Eagle JGT. Yeah, he did. That was a hell of a shot. Well, he's trying to take somebody to the hole right there, and he's going to get a foul called. And that's going to be a media timeout with Miles going. I don't know. He wasn't shooting, though, was he? He'll be on the floor, I reckon. Look at Janai walking through the folks in Pearltown. He's like, hey, have you ever played a drinking game, Janai? No, I don't drink. Okay. Small Victory says this could get ugly in a good way. I like to hear that. That's the kind of talk I like to hear. All right, let's get some hot, fresh stats. I bet we will have Beppo with us a little bit later, who's a very, very big fan of Fresh Stats. The only place more of a fan of Fresh Stats would be Krispy Kreme, where you get the hot, fresh donuts, and on the Brain Drain, you get the hot, fresh stats. I wish someday I could say our stream today is partnered with Krispy Kreme for all of your glazed donut needs And, of course, they're great at cake donuts, too. All right, so we're one segment in. Oh, there he is. Daniel P., what's up, bro? Melee has shown up. That's what we're talking about right there. Glad that Thomas K. Is with us as well. He loves the defense so far. I do, too. I'm with you on that, brother. They're 2 of 9 from the floor. The Florida Gators are 1 assist, 1 turnover. Interesting. 2 of 9. I feel like the shot quality has been shitty for Florida, too. Auburn has been just absolutely crashed up. I mean, just getting really hot and heavy with the DHO rolls that Florida likes to run. That Vanderbilt was giving them kind of free reign to run the other day. The Auburn Tigers 12 points on 5 of 9 shooting, 7 boards versus 4. I know Cassidy P. somewhere is very happy to be +3 already in that category. Auburn 4 assists and 1 turnover also bodes well for things to go on. 3 blocks already, too. Janai with 2, which is customary, but 1 for Miles Kelly, which is unusual. Anyway, Sam H. was asking if we're drinking. I will be drinking, yes. Canoeman was the one that got us the hot fresh stats. I'm going to be drinking this Peerless single barrel. Some would call it a barrel. I am a huge Peerless fan, as you guys know. Distilled right there in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. Not quite on Whiskey Row, though. A little bit down the road. But, I mean, I literally like 100 yards. But one of my favorites. I feel like a stranger says Krispy Kreme presents glazed donut face of the week. Wow, I don't know. Sometimes when you talk about getting a glazed donut face, I'm not sure that's exactly relative to eating donuts, if you know what I mean. Stu Pep says, first game, the other team has 3 more fouls than Auburn. Great eye, man. I hadn't even pointed that out. 3 fouls for Florida, 0 for the Auburn Tigers. So a lot of numbers, again, very early, first break of the game, but trending in a way that is satisfying as an Auburn observer. Points per possession, 1.7 for the Auburn Tigers and 0.6 for Florida. Pie Player says solid penetration so far.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Speaking about the penetration, sometimes that can be good and sometimes that can be bad. Pipe, of course, his Purdue Boilermakers played their big rivalry game last night, Big Ten rivalry against Southern Cal. I remember when I read the books about John Wooden when he was a player for the Boilermakers back in the 1910s. They used to go to the next town over and play Southern Cal. There he is. Neil says the evening pipe cannot beat penetration of the solid variety. Those guys, Pipe and Neil J., I have personally partied with them in Mexico. It was a great time, had by all. 2 guys that know how to party right there. That's what I'm talking about. Those 2 plus me plus J Dub, and we'd really have something there. Maybe throw in JBDC Elite. Chaney Johnson, guys, we got to give him one of those. Come
He's
on,
heating up.
Chaney with a little mid-range. Dude, if Chaney's going to come in here and start hitting mid-rangers, holy shiz. Todd Golden better be careful. All right, so we got Simo in there now with Chaney. We've got Tahad in there. So you're going with your 6, 7, 8 players. You decide the number yourself. There you go. Simo was, again, being super, super rough on that DHO machination and got a steal. Florida's expecting to be able to run those DHOs clearly, and it's cleanly, I should say, and it's not happening so far. It's a little bit of a gamble because when you pressure the DHO machination that aggressively, it almost always is going to leave somebody free to cut or just straight up be open on the backside. Now, you've seen Florida already get 2 really good looks on back cuts that came off of DHO, and that's about the time that Auburn, Jesus, the sideways spin on Simo's shots just absolutely kill me. It's literally sideways. So there is a gamble there. Obviously, at this point, it's resulting in some steals and also just kind of taking Florida out of rhythm. So it's a gamble absolutely worth taking right now. We'll see what Florida does to counteract that. My guess is that they're going to go away from DHO and have to do some other different stuff. Simo hits 1 of 2 to get Auburn up to its first 10-point double-digit lead, I should say. Well, either way, it's fine. All right. Still got Denver playing Clayton. No, they switched already. Never mind. All right, there it is. Now, Auburn was trying to pressure that DHO again and got a little bit behind, and then they were able to hit that back cut. That's the third back cut that Florida's been able to hit. So if you're going to gamble on the DHO, you have to disrupt it. I think Chaney's lucky he didn't get a foul called on him on a moving screen right there. That's my opinion. We let Janai take 2 threes a game. He missed his first one. Another turnover for Auburn. Oh, Taha just crossed him up so bad. Oh, he didn't finish. Oh, it's such a beautiful crossover, too. That's 2 open right there. And that's 2 offensive rebound. Can't do that. Second chance opportunity for Florida. Can't let him do it. That's what they do. Melee says, I'm getting DHO exhaustion already. Let's see if the paradigm changes a little bit here. Ooh, I like that one. I like that kind of high arc over that Janai screen for Denver. I felt like the defense was just okay on it, but Denver didn't want to shoot it for whatever reason. Taha just, holy shit. Just pulls up from like 24 and splashes that bitch right home, man, and gets Auburn back up 18-9. Fearless he is. Good God, that was a tough drive from Walter Clayton right there to get the deuce off the glass. It was really nice, man. I don't think number 7 is equipped to handle Tahad. He just got picked off of him. Tahad wisely put himself. That is such a smart play right there. He rubbed that screen off of Janai, and then as that guy was trying to catch up, he just kind of put his ass on him and wouldn't let him get back into defensive position, just kind of rode him down to about 8 feet and hit a splash right there. That was really nice. Oh, shit, that was really nice, too. Some good basketball being played right now both ways. That technically is a back cut, but it was an alley-oop for Florida. I did not see what was going on the front end of that. 20-13 is what we're looking at. Tahad has come in here and brought some immediate offense, as you would expect from him. Chaney's going to try to back this old boy down. Not a good shot. I mean, it was a fine quality shot, but he didn't execute the shot very well. So Tahad, what a great shift for him right there. They're going to go into another media timeout since we're under 12 now. Golly, that's a tough shot, man. MC Tigger says, there. This is good basketball. Damn, Jinx, Jay. I'm glad I'm thinking on your level. That means I'm thinking the right way, G. Let me get some hot, fresh stats out here. Now that we've got, 2 segments in the books. And I think we're all satisfied right now with the way Auburn's playing on the attacking end, without a doubt. Defensively, a little gambly. And my guess is that they're going to ease back a little bit and try to just absorb the DHO machination, because I think they're getting beat a little too much with that backside cut. 20-13, as you can see, Auburn's points per possession has dipped a little bit, and Florida's gotten better, although those were unsustainable through the first segment. 6 of 14 now for Florida. 43%. They're probably somewhat okay with that. Auburn's shooting 53%, which Auburn's real happy with. 4 assists and 1 turnover, which is the same since the last possession. So Auburn had 3 buckets in this segment. Auburn had 3 buckets in the last segment and no assists, which is fine, whatever. 4 assists and 3 turnovers for Florida, which they're probably okay with. And Auburn has lost its rebounding advantage. They were up 3 in the last segment. Now they're down 1. So that wasn't a great segment. I think Tahad kind of bailed him out with a couple heroic shots and 5 points. So Tim the Toolman says Tahad is Florida's father. Gut Bucket, my man, says Tahad the bod. That's the straightest thing you've said all day, Gut Bucket, but I like it. I do appreciate it. It's a good one, Tahad the bod. Yabo says everything's not perfect, but I'm generally happy at the moment. That's what I'm talking about right there. I put some new colors on my my Owala. They now sell tops. You can just buy the top separately. So now this is instead of being like black and white, basically it's like light gray and white. Still got my Greta Thunberg. How dare you? How dare Thank you. Oh, my God, it was so wonderful. It was really a gift to all of us that she got so mad about that. Really, it was a gift. Let's see. Small Victory says, did Coconut Bra Guy finally graduate, or do we owe the producers drinks for not showing him? Apparently, he was there at the last game and just wasn't coconut brawing. Maybe, he had a moment where he was like, hey, man, this is getting a little bit too much. I don't know. Stoop Up says, high-level basketball so far. Yeah, there's been some really good basketball. It was really frenetic the first couple minutes, although Auburn managed it or handled it a lot better. Florida just looked spazzy. Auburn looked like it was purposeful. But, yeah, this last segment was good basketball on both sides. I think Florida actually won the second segment. Auburn was a big winner in the first segment. There he is, Todd Golden, the man. Really enjoyed the time that I got to spend with Todd Golden when he was an assistant here. I learned a lot of basketball from him. And he's just one of those guys. It's like the same dude all the time, which I like that about him. And I wouldn't say that about like everybody. There he is, counseling TJ Lang. There he is with Harris Adler and Coach Stephen Pearl. Married to a former volleyball player. She's a very tall and lean gal. He did very well for himself. He'd probably be right at home in the bunker because, you all know bunker wives are all at least 9s. That's kind of how we do it, right? Oh, no, Auburn has not backed down on the DHO stuff. Look at this. Look at the harassment. That's a pretty good quality shot, and Florida cashed it in. That's a good pass out. Honestly, that's a wise, experienced pass out of that pressure. They really like Chaney against that dude. He's number 10. They love that matchup. Chaney hit one over him earlier, just hit another one over him, and then missed one earlier, but it was actually a decent shot. He just didn't execute it well. So look for that as a place where Auburn can continue to exploit a little bit. No, Chad. Oh. Nice second chance opportunity. Chad got to be careful throwing the ball into the stanchion like that. The wrong ref. He's not going to be a fan of that. Terry Oglesby, this is his crew tonight, so we don't have to worry about Pat Adams. I like that hair, man. Reminds me of a guy that would have driven a Camaro in about 1989. IROC. Custom license plate, GetTwat. GETTWAT. It's got a license plate frame that says Reagan. And he's out there winning. He'd be doing a hell of a lot of winning. He did hit one of his two. 22-17 is where we're at right now. Auburn, great spacing. Poor pass from Chad Bacon Lasagna. I don't understand what he thought he was going to try to do there, but I think it was Cassidy P. It was complimenting Auburn on spacing in the last game, and I thought I think it's good this time too. Jay Robertson with us back in the chat. We'd love to have him around. He's one of our friends from the he's actually an Ole Miss fan, but he lives up near Arkansas, and he occasionally comes by just to hang out and be cool and friendly as the kind of chap he is. So we're glad to have you back, brother. Maybe Ole Miss plays tonight. I'm not sure exactly on the schedule there, but Florida's been heating up a little bit from three-point range, guys. Let's be real about it. That was a pretty good quality shot, the last two, and they've been able to drain them both. Now, that's a nice look from Chad. I don't love Chaney taking that shot, but it was a good look. Todd Golden's fired up. This is potentially could be his second segment. We're going to start doing that, I think. We're going to start giving each team a win or a loss in a segment, right? So segment 1, we gave to Auburn. Segment 2, we're giving to Florida. And this is segment 3 that we're in right now, which if it ends at the 8-minute mark, it's going to be Florida's as well. Let's see. Melee's put a stash on Ha. and he drives a 92 F-150 instead of a Camaro. That will work. A 92 F-150, like raised, like a little bit raised, with like big Mickey Thompsons on them, like not the little tires. God, Dylan with a night. You rarely see Dylan kind of do that, where he wants to kind of go full Janai on somebody, and he did it right there. And I thought it was good footwork and good body control, and then the shot just wasn't quite there. Florida getting a little more comfortable with the DHO pressure now. You can kind of see that. And they left him wide open, and he hit it. Now, he was pretty deep on that one. But I would say, he's a shooter, and he's open. So Florida's almost certainly going to win this segment, too. 7-0 run right now. That's something. Wow, they didn't call Chad for a travel there. I was surprised. Dylan wasn't sure what to do there. His primary thing was to cut off the ball to make sure the ball didn't get inside the perimeter, and then he just pulled up. Kind of confusing Dylan, but it worked out. Florida still leads by 1 here. About 8 minutes to go. We're now under the 8-minute mark, so the next stoppage is going to be a immediate timeout. Denver, I think he knew he was just going to be able to get the foul on that. Boy, Todd is freaking out, isn't he? He's trying to say that foul was on the floor. It looks like instead it's going to be a shooting situation for Denver, and he knows Denver's a 92% free throw shooter. Probably don't want to do that. The deftness of that pass right there that they just showed on the replay and Florida hitting that 3 shows you that they're catching on to the DHO stuff. So I got to be careful on that one. All right, so there's the segment right there. Auburn's going to be shooting 2 when we get back. No, 1-1. Yeah, 1-1. Spicy Pieces got to guard the 3 or we are cooked. Yeah, they got to do a better job in that. The quality of the shots in that particular segment was just too good. They were all at least decent, if not better than that. And a couple of those 3s are wide ass open. And Florida can shoot the 3, so going to need a little attitude adjustment on that one. Somebody's got to step up and say, okay, well, I'm going to set a tone now and play a little bit better defense. Here's the latest stats, the hot, fresh stats coming to you live from the internet. Florida has now taken a 1-point lead, and their shooting has picked up significantly. 9 of 18. Remember, they were 2 of 9 to open. So now they've hit, 7 of their last 9 shots, and that definitely helps them a lot. We'll just say that. Yeah, we'll leave it there. 9 of 18 from the floor. The Auburn Tigers are 9 of 19. The rebounding margin is +2 for Florida, even though Auburn was up 3 early. 7 assists and 4 turnovers for Florida, which they're okay with considering where they started. Auburn 4 assists and 1 turnover, so haven't had an assist in the last 2 segments together. Just a little bit odd. Personal fouls, 5 against Florida called, 2 against the Auburn Tigers. Points off turnovers, Florida's +4 on that one. Second chance points, Florida's +1. Not too bad. AU Taxman says 50% from 3 will not continue. I tend to agree, although the quality of the shots that last segment was pretty damn good for Florida. So I'm going to go ahead and give Florida that segment. So they're up 2 segments to 1 right now. Neil Jones says streaky so far. That has been true. Florida was cold early. Auburn was hot. Now it's kind of going the other way where Florida's super hot and Auburn's chilled off a little bit. But you know how it is. The Auburn Tigers are very flammable. They get going in a hurry. There's almost you can't see it coming. All of a sudden you get hit with 8 points real fast. And that's pretty good. Let's see. Cassis says the second team lineup just ain't getting it today. Cheney, Tahad, and Denver at 2 for whatever reason. It's negative and +-. Hornacia says we haven't played worth a crap since I put the cookies in the oven. I think he's the bad guy today. He's the guy that we're going to vilify if this gets ugly. Thomas K says we're going to need a National Player of the Year performance from Janai, who I haven't really noticed too much. He had that 1 bucket early, and does he even have another one? He does not. He's 1 of 4. with 3 boards and 3 assists and no turnovers. So you love the assists. You love the passing. Of course, it's something we have we've become accustomed to with Janai because he's just such an active, eyes up, great passer kind of player. Ephesians out of nowhere says, on a side note, that Tron ride at Magic Kingdom is pretty crazy. I heard about it, I should say, and I've never seen it. And I haven't been to Magic Kingdom in a while, so I probably need to go down there at some point. Sounds pretty awesome. I'm sure it has to do with the light cycles, right? Because, the first Tron movie with Jeff Bridges, man, that was like right up my alley. I think I was 10 when that came out. Oh, my goodness. Denver Jones missed a free throw. That happens rarely. Rarely, I say. All right, he splashes the second one. There was no way he was going to miss 2. So we're all square now. Well, 7:48 to go in the first half. Let a little turnover based on a pass that was just a little bit too long. They tried to save it and passed it right to Janai. Oh, that was a sweet pass from Denver to Janai. Turtle in there with a nice offensive rebound. I thought he could have put that ball back. Instead, he kicks it out to Miles, and you know what he did with it. He drained that bad boy for a triple, and I ain't talking about a Belgian. And that gives Auburn a 26-23 lead. That's 2 open. That 3 is 2 open. Miles Kelly badly mistimes his jump on the backside and gives up 2 points right there. It's just 2 points you lost. He was in perfect position to get that rebound, and he just mistimed his jump to corral it, and they got the ball and put it in. That's tough. Sometimes you finish a game 72-70, and it's shit like that that makes a difference. Auburn just hit another 3. I think it was Denver. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was Denver. No, it looks like it might have been Miles. Is that Miles? Oh, another mistimed jump. Was that Miles again? Boy, Simo's getting another shift here. They're waiting on Miles to get back up the court. Another shift from Simo is kind of odd. Plus, Turtle playing this early. They obviously must be kind of thinking, like, with Turtle and Janai, you're thinking, like, let's get physical down there. And Simo plus at 3. Boy, the trust they put in there. When Janai has the ball driving like that, they don't even go down there to crash the boards. Like, Simo was just watching. Turtle was just watching. It's like they just watch him splash. Okay, so it was Miles Kelly. Let's go ahead and give him a he's heating up.
He's heating up!
What a beautiful shot there. I love the shots that kiss off the glass like that, and they mean to do it. It's really nice. Looks like Coach Ira is barking out some instructions there defensively, some things he's probably not happy with. That is the same machination they ran for Denver earlier. This time it goes to Miles Kelly, and he missed it. Simo had the rebound, and then he just kind of fumbled it out of bounds. Oh, Janai. I would call that an around-the-world move where he kind of goes from the right. He makes it look like he's going right, and then he just kind of rolls it over to his left. That's just such a tough thing. You have to step so fast. You have to get choppy feet to get in position to stay with him on that, and not many guys can do that. I can see for miles and miles. That's for you, Desperado. Yabo is a fan of getting a 10-point lead build. I think we would all agree with that. That'd be terrific. Can't really fault Turtle on that one. He was moving his feet. He was in good position. And I think he just kind of smacked his arm a little bit. Melee says, Simo with a little Billy Idol dancing with myself. Thinking about him holding the the energy things and going. Psh, psh. I do remember the video. All right, Florida gets 2 free throws to get it to 31-29 now. All right, so we've got. They haven't really switched out too much. Oh, Turtle. Good golly. I'm going to call it out of bounds on SEMO, dude. Turtle got a little ahead of himself on that one. They haven't been doing wholesale shifts this time. I guess because they've tightened up the rotation a little bit because Kai's not really playing very much. So now they're leaving like either Denver or Miles in there to keep your three-point shooting alive. And they're flipping and flopping everything else. I would say, Spicy says, let's get Turtle out. I would say get SEMO out, personally. I like Kai better than I do SEMO. I think you get more out of Kai, assuming he can stay under control. Oh, my gosh. That is a long three-point shot. It was open, though, but it's a long one. I would still say that's a quality shot. Mitch JP says, why not both? That's enough Turtle and SEMO. I think I'm probably with you on that. They're going to leave Turtle out there for the moment. Oh, Janai hits that. I bet he hits that 90% of the time right there. He got right up to the bucket and just couldn't quite finish it with a layup. Now Florida did the exact same thing on the other end and got the bucket. So Florida's going to win this segment too. That's going to be 3 segments in a row. I think we're going to have to give the Florida 9-0 run. I mean, it's still only a 3-point lead. Todd Golden is so active over there as a coach. So active. I mean, he was such a rambunctious player not that long ago, you know. So that's going to be a goaltend, but I think Miles is still going to. That's over there where Joe D sits. There he is. I saw Joe D, the legend, over there. So it's going to be a goaltend, but the shot went in anyway, so Miles gets credit for that. And that was probably about as quick as we've seen Miles. He just beat that guy with speed, which is something you see from Tahad, but you don't necessarily see from any other guys. It's a good finish from Florida. I'm still going to give Florida that segment, guys, though. I mean, to have a 9-0 run. It's weird because we've had 4 segments so far, and I'm giving Florida 3 of them, and it's still a 1-point lead. That tells me that Auburn is responding each time that they get pushed down a little bit, which is exactly what you would expect from this team is pretty damn resilient. This is about as hard as they've been pushed. I would say this is the hardest they've been pushed since the Duke game. And that means it's time for us to get some hot, fresh stats. All right, some hot, fresh stats coming right up. All right. 23-22. Oh, what the world, Jay? What are you doing? Is that what I just pulled up? Those are the wrong stats, guys. That was a very rookie mistake, was it not? Oh. You know what the problem is that the stats have gone dead. That's why that box was so out of date. My official stat page right now says 23-22. And I thought it looked right in my head because, Florida's up 1, so I see that and I'm thinking, okay, they're up 1, whatever. But the stats have cut off. Oh, they just caught up. We just got a whole wholesale update right there. So let me go ahead and get the proper box for you guys. We'll take a gander at this bad boy. I see a singing opportunity on this one, too, with Florida's assist-to-turnover ratio. All right, for hot fresh stats, right? These are the actual correct stats. And Florida's assist-to-turnover ratio is 9-5. Reminds me of Dabney Coleman in a harness. If you remember, if you guys are about my age and it was on HBO all the time in the afternoons when you come home from school. Watching Dabney Coleman in a harness getting tied to a garage door opener by Dolly and the whole crew. I know, man, it sounds kind of weird, but I don't know. It wasn't that weird at the time. 6 assists and 3 turnovers for the Auburn Tigers. You love to see 3 turnovers. That's terrific. I want to see what. I want to see like how many. Is that Chris Budden? Is that who that is with Tom Crean? I don't like Tom Crean very much. I think he's kind of a screwball. Just my opinion. Auburn's had 26 possessions and only 3 turnovers, so that is terrific. You really, really like to see that. That's the sign of a mature team right there. Cassidy Pieces, they're being more physical, and that's why they've won the last 3 segments. Spicy Pieces, why are Simo and Turtle getting so many minutes? My guess is that Chaney, they've been frustrated by some part of Chaney's game, although Chaney's back in there now. Let's see, you got Tahad, Miles, Chad, plus Janai and Chaney. And Florida just pulled up and hit a challenge shot, but still decent quality. Matt N says Crean gives off mad scientist vibes. And to Cassidy Pieces, Tom Crean equals alleged human being. He does seem kind of like AI, doesn't he? There were some people that really wanted him to be the next head coach at Auburn after Cliff Ellis. I believe Tom Crean was at Marquette at that time. Oh, geez, man. Florida just hit another one. And they're up to 39, so defensively, Auburn's going to feel like they are way off the pace right now. Did Auburn call timeout there? They did. That's just the shot quality there is just too good, and I think Auburn's going to have a talk about. I mean, the defense there from Chaney's not bad on the Clayton shot. I think Chad was a little bit late on that one right there. So I'm not going to call a winner on that segment because it wasn't a full segment. Auburn called timeout. So, hey, my man Travis J jumps in with a super chat. There he is. Says, "Let's go, JG." My man, thanks for coming over, Travis. Travis, huge on our football drains, and then kind of catches us on basketball when he's not working. He's a working man. And as Rush would say, that's what I am. But we're glad to have him here tonight with us on this critical clutch game between the Auburn Tigers and the Florida Gators. Stu Pup says UF just making more shots right now. I completely agree. The shot quality's been good for Florida, and they've just been hitting them. But again, I hate it when players, like let's say, you lose a game, you say, well, they were just hitting shots. Well, no shit, they were hitting shots. That's how you lost. But how good was the quality? Sometimes you play great defense and the team hits the shot anyway. Other times the defense is just mediocre and they're hitting shots. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing tonight. Janai just absolutely bulldozered his way into that bucket right there. He just backed that dude down, got him leaning in the wrong direction and went the left hand. I don't know why you would ever defend Janai dominant to his right, but he did and just laid it in with his left. All right, Auburn is now switching screens up high. That's a change for them. They don't often do that. They're going to call a fake foul right there on Chad Bacon Lasagna on a 3-point attempt, which is a regrettable offense. Did he touch him? I mean, because Chad's not really bitching that much. So maybe he put his hand, maybe he hit him on the way up. He definitely didn't hit him as he was shooting, which is something where BP talked about in the press conference yesterday about, earning it when you get a foul, making it worthwhile. That would be an example of him not earning the foul. TM Taco's a little frustrated with the lack of rebounding. Thinks that Auburn could do a little bit more. That's funny. BP was bitching at that ref, and he just kind of goes, "Are you mad? You're mad at me?" He's like, "I didn't call that." All right, 42 for Florida. They're really having a great segment right now. Travis J jumps in with another super chat. Oh, Janai with a miss there. He says, can't follow up a $1 donation after you say I'm a working man. Let me show love. Auburn 79-88 is what he sees. He predicting Auburn to win this game, which is a great prediction. I like it, by the way. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I wasn't paying attention to that. I just appreciate you jumping in with the super chat at all. Thank you for being here with us a whole lot of the time. I know. Kind of noticing that Chad's Desperado was saying that he doesn't feel like Chad's been himself tonight. Yeah, you haven't really noticed him, but listen, man, like he's been a little bit on off as a player now. Not the personality stuff, but the player part. He's been a little on off. Remember that Ole Miss game where he was dog shit for the entire first half, and then kind of picked up in the second half. It seems to be kind of what he's been doing lately. Is he's just so in the first half, and then he picks it up. Wow, are they going to give Chaney the full money on that one right there? I mean, is he going to beat the free throw line, making this a 3-pointer? Because if so, that's huge. That's exactly what's happening. Great drive. Stu Pubs has us 38-21 Florida. This is probably before Chaney's thing here. 38-21 Florida since the first segment. How about that? Let's see if Chaney can consummate the three-point play, the old-fashioned three-point play, as they like to say on TV. I don't like that idiom very much. 38-42 is what we got. Amazing that Florida's playing as well as it is, and Auburn's hanging right there. This is a lot of points for Auburn to give up at home in a half. You know, of a hotly contested game. I feel like maybe North Alabama game when it got away, gave up some points in that game. But oh, Chaney, nice D. I just kind of got unlucky on the deflection there. Chaney, again, great footwork, shuffling his feet. He's not reaching. This is something that he's improved on in the last 3 weeks. When he kept getting in foul trouble over and over and over again, and I think Burgo sat down with him and showed him some clips and said, "Here's what's going on. You're not moving your feet enough, and you're reaching too much, and this is where you put yourself into trouble." They just turned that ball over. They did. That is amazing out of bounds defense under the bucket. Todd is disgusted. He's like, how can that happen? Because Auburn locked down right there. What you can tell Chaney's he's got a real flair today. You can tell he's confident. He didn't hit the shot, but he's still playing, at least on the attacking end, good basketball. Kind of had to do that foul right there. He was going to get a layup. Anonymous says, I prefer he got 3 the hard way. I like that one. It's like 3 the hard way. That's an NWA rap. I know they got that from somebody else, but I don't remember which song it was, though. Cass DP would like to see Chaney go to the hole instead of the ISO stuff. Yeah, a little fall away 15-footer. I'm not sure that's really his game. I think he needs to go to the hole. You're always kind of dealing with a little bit of dysmorphia with Chaney, though, sometimes because sometimes he gets away from what I think makes sense for him. Sometimes I think he thinks he's a different player than he actually is, because he played a different role at UAH. Oh, that's not a charge. Don't you do it. They're going to call that. I need to see a replay. I'm going to withhold judgment on that one until I see the replay. Absolutely not. No fucking way, man. Not set at all, and he's not out of control. No. The answer is no. I'm just going to say no on that one. Yeah, Sam H is disgusted. I don't understand that. Nana Mouse thinks that's a flop. I do too. Ugh, yuck. I don't like that call at all. Boy, they were just begging him to take that three, and he hit it, man. 47 points now. Auburn 1 bucket away from giving up 50.5 at home. 22-7 run for the Florida Gators right now. Denver's like, we're going to stop this shiz, but no, he can't finish. And now Dylan's going to get a foul, and they're going to probably get free throws out of this. Wow. Okay, the good news is that Auburn tends to come out, like in games where they need to make adjustments at halftime, where they're struggling. They generally come out and execute. They have some stern talkings at halftime. Stu Pup says Auburn has just come apart. I mean, yeah, it's not looking good right now. And that was a very, very not smart foul by Dylan. I mean, you really are probably 80 feet from the basket, 70 feet from the basket, and you're going to foul him with 1.9 on the clock. Come on now. Dylan, where'd the ball go? I didn't even see it come down. You can tell Janai there on the sideline is just like, what the world was that? Stu Pope says Florida's plus 21 since the first segment. So, yeah, the fifth segment, which finishes out the half. You've got to give that to Florida. I mean, guys, let's be real. There's 5 segments and a half, and Florida just won the last 4 in a row. And a D. Lucky, I think, sums it up with 3 words. We got murked, is what he says. Murked is exactly what happened in that half. It was getting worse as time went on. And I think it was just a combination of things. I need to see some of these stats before I draw any major conclusions. It feels like they're getting second chance opportunities, but I'm guessing that we're not going to see that on the stats. No, it's dead even in second chance opportunities, 7 points each. And I don't think Florida's offensive rebounding numbers are insane right now. All right, these are the hot, fresh stats from halftime right here. This Tennessee-Oklahoma game got ugly. Oklahoma got dismantled again. All right, so second chance points here, 7-7. And then offensive rebounding, they're 6 for Florida, 4 for Auburn. I mean, that's not a huge disparity right there. But 19 rebounds to 12. Auburn was up +3 after the first segment, and now they've really fallen behind to go -7 on that. 10 assists on 16 buckets for Florida is pretty good. 7 turnovers is a little bit high for Florida from their perspective. Now, Auburn had 8 assists and 4 turnovers. There was a time when we used to think 4 turnovers for a half was a lot. In SEC play, it's probably about normal for Auburn. The Tigers shooting 15 of 32, so that's 47% from the floor. I thought that was worse. I do, and Auburn was +4 in shots attempted too, so that's good. Some good things going on. 4 of 10 from 3 is good for the Auburn Tigers. Score 7 of 13 for Florida is too high. Ravince is down 10 at the half. Will be hard to come back from. If you can't come back from this at home, then you just don't deserve it, Now, this is where Auburn's pressuring the DHOs. And you see Chad's ready to catch that guy rolling off. But the ball goes over Chad, and there's really nobody there. Let's see. D. Lucky says the Semo and Turtle lineup ground the offense to a halt. Too much ISO ball. My man CFB Addict is coming in live from the game. Says game plan blows. Why are they double teaming on the wing? D is getting burned. Talking about those risky those decisions they were making to really, really try to mess up the DHO stuff. Anna says they're just hitting incredible shots. Got to make adjustments and defend. I do think that, to me, the shot quality has been good for Florida, though. It hasn't been shitty shots that are going in. I think they've had pretty good looks, and they've had too many open threes for a team that shoots well from threes. So something's got to get better. Carter says, worst half we played all year, just terrible. Defense was lazy 90% of the time, continue to not make layups. Shot selection has been questionable at times. I agree with that. Not for Florida, but for the Auburn Tigers. Let's see what they were on the layups, because we've noticed that before. Auburn, this is almost impossible to believe. They're 5 of 12 on layups, guys. Christ almighty. And Florida's 2 of 5. Dude. Auburn is plus 7 layup attempts. Like, holy cow. 12 to 5. This is so weird. It's almost like Auburn's worst shot now is a layup. 0-0 on dunks, by the way. Weird for Auburn to have 0 dunks in a half. Almost always have 1. Let's see. Feel like a stranger says CBM sat a long time. I wonder why. So 12 minutes and a half is probably, that's probably 3 or 4 low for him. And then Simo got 8 minutes and a half, which is probably 4 minutes too much for him. So that's probably where it is. Now, I don't know the answer to that question because I'm not on the horn with them, but several of us have kind of thought that CBM is not playing with his usual joie de vivre. And that's a big part of what makes him so lethal is that he plays with such incredible a work rate, I guess you could say. So maybe with his work rate low, they just felt like Simo is someone who always is going to bust his ass in there, and they just kind of go with that a little bit to give CBM a chance to kind of wake up. Now, my guess is that he's getting absolutely talked to in halftime, that, you're a 24-year-old man, and we need to rely on you, and you've got to sack up and get in there and do a little bit more. I think that's what he's hearing right now. I'm talking about Chad right now. Denver has 1 point. It's not great. And mostly just kind of has zeros. I mean, a 14-minute half, and he really didn't do much. So that's a minus. Janai, 6 points on 3 of 9. I'm not too worried about that because he has a tendency to pop right back. Rustin says the reason Chad is sitting is because he's losing his man. That's cost them points. At least I can remember 2 of those 3-point. What they showed the replay of it, right, was they were coming out of the halftime, where he was just slow rotating over and gave up an open 3-point shot that they cashed. So Tom Crean was kind of noting exactly what you're talking about right there, Rustin. Good point on that. I feel like a stranger wonders, is CBM sick? I haven't heard that. And Colby, I'm with him 100%. He says, I have no doubt we're going to make a push back. Auburn has too many dudes where even if Chad's going to have an off day, somebody's going to have to step up and do it. Maybe they give a chance to Kai to come in there and do something. I think they could use a little more explosiveness at that position if they're not going to go with Chad. So Simo doesn't do much for me. I don't think he does much for you guys either, but I think that's kind of what they're looking at right now. They don't trust Kai. Solo says, I wonder why Dylan only played 9 minutes with 0 fouls. They really preferred to, I think in that half, they go with Chaney and Janai together, and then Dylan, who is usually such a huge factor, was not much of one there. But 9 minutes, you're right, that's not really enough maybe to be the kind of factor that he is. And then Tahad really kind of a mostly anonymous half too. Now he has 5 points, which is not bad, but those were back-to-back possessions that he scored the 5, and that was a while ago. Chip also notes that the only segment Auburn won in that half was with the starters, the full array of starters. I think they had the full starters in for segment 4, or at least close. But maybe I don't know. There's a lot going on. Yabo also would not mind to see Kai Howard play a little bit. Tahad has been hot. Let him come take over with Broom. And Cassidy Pieces play the starters 15 minutes in this half, and let's see what we can do. I think they would be wise to go with starters because you look at the bench today. I mean, Tahad's been so-so. Simo's been not good. Turtle didn't play too much, but he was just okay. And then Shaney, he's been okay, but I think he's been okay. So the bench has not been great. But Denver's kind of sucked, although I'm not real worried about him. I mean, I don't think this game hinges on Denver. This game hinges on Janai and Chad finding a way to get going, and I think the same thing for Dylan. So I think in keeping with what Cassidy P was talking about, the starters, those 3 in particular, need to absolutely sack up and play, at a higher level. But let's be real, guys. I mean, if it's 40 I mean, you give up 48 points at home. I know they're a good team. Nobody's upset about. It's not like you're out here playing against some scrubs. But you give up 48 points at home. That's bad. And we could talk about this, that, and the other thing. But if it's 38-38 right now, everybody's probably fine if the defense is about where it normally is. At this point, it's not. Florida's been taking advantage of Auburn a little too much. And, yeah, CFB Addict has some questions about what they're doing, and I think those are fair questions. Catch DP says, of Cheney.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Just being real about it. Yabo says, has Tahad missed a lot? I feel like he hasn't taken many shots. I mean, he's 2 of 3. But I just haven't really noticed him that much, you know? I mean, honestly, there's just not many players on Auburn's team that I have noticed that much. I mean, Janai had a few nice takes. And Miles Kelly had a couple splashes there. But you know, other than that, it's been just kind of ho-hum on the attacking. And shit, you could argue that it's just been ho-hum the whole way through. I mean, defense has been not poor, but definitely a tick below average. And then attacking-wise, they've been average-ish. So just doing okay. Now, we want to give Florida some credit here. I mean, Florida's a good ball club. This is not just some screwball group here. They're good, and you've got to go out there and force your will on a team like this because they're not going to just fold and, you know, like some other teams. I don't want to name any names, Oklahoma, that just get pushed around and intimidated and back down, you know. Auburn, they're damn good, and they've got a great reputation, but Florida's not scared of them. Neil J says, stick the starters in from the get-go in the second half and push the button to jump to hyperspace. That guy's a Han Solo fan, isn't he? Stoop Up says, credit to a couple of long ones, but 7 of 13 from 3 is abysmal defense. Yeah, they're not going to be happy with that. Thomas K says, we were aggressive on the DHO, which makes the defense lack the aggression in other areas. Yeah, you're putting a lot of pressure on them not being able to pass out of that, right? Because if you can pass out of that quickly, there's going to be inadequacies somewhere else on the floor, and that's exactly what Florida took advantage of. Bobby Kren coming in, my guy, one of my Hempstead friends. Florida shooting the ball well. They can't shoot that well in the second half. I think what he means is they can't be allowed to shoot that well in the second half, although maybe he means they've got to come back to earth a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Spicy Pieces Vegas, current line is Auburn loses by 3. How about that? Wow. Let's give that a TPIR horn on that. Yeah, I hate hearing that. I'd like to see Auburn win the game. That'd be terrific. Although this could be a good opportunity to buy the dip and make a little bit of money on that. Yabo says, Janai struggling at the rim. Would like to see him go into distribution mode, pass it around, and let Tahad, Miles, and Denver try some sniping. That would be good. By the way, Janai does have 4 assists, leads the team, and he's personally responsible for half the assists for Auburn that last half. So he is doing his job distributing. I know what you're saying, though. Chip says, I kind of like this game. It's pressing Auburn to come back or at least make a game of it. Yeah, I mean, Auburn needs to get pushed. I mean, if you're going to win a tournament, you're going to try to win the NCAA tournament, you've got to have games. This is why, I mean, dude, Villanova won the title that year, and they lost 9 or 10 games. I mean, it's okay to lose some games in basketball. Now, I'm not trying to preface this and say Auburn's going to lose this game. That's not what I'm saying, but it's onto what Chip was saying, basically. It's cool to struggle sometimes. Struggles can be redemptive. Trying to see the year that Villanova won that title. Was it 18? Yeah, they won one in 18, and they lost 4 games. That ain't much. And they won it, was it 16 they won it? They won it all in 16 and lost 5 games. So I missed that one a little bit. Yeah, I don't know where I was thinking. Lost 5 or 6 games. Anyway. They played back in those days. They played in an absolutely brutal conference just like Auburn, and they would lose 2 or 3 of the conference. And so anyway, I'm not assuming that Auburn's going to lose this game at all. In fact, I believe that Auburn's going to win this game, but some stuff's got to change, and we have seen this many, many times, including the Duke game that Auburn lost. They come out after halftime. They have great coaching, whether it's Burgo or Ira, in this case, who's working on the scout for this game, or BP, or Stephen Pearl, or Chad, or whoever. They get stuff done at halftime, and I really believe Auburn's going to come out with a better plan and better intensity in the second half. We've seen it over and over again, and I think we can assume that. Chip says, I say that because Auburn hasn't played total ass. Florida has been hot. You run into these teams in March and April. How do you handle it? Great point. Great point. That's how you become a great team. As Jerry Cantrell said in Jerry Maguire, man, you got to let your balls hang out there. That's how you become somebody. Daniel D says, if we lose, at least it won't be to Bama. Well, that game's coming up soon, my man. Someone mentions that Janai is a rich man's Cinnabon Bowers, a.k.a. Simeon. I think it's kind of true. Yeah. I mean, yeah. He's a better finisher than Simeon ever was. But what he's saying is that he's an outstanding distributor as a big man. Those two guys have that in common. Spicy Pieces, Florida playing like 2019 AU. When they catch fire, there's not much you can do. Of course, that's the Final Four team he's talking about right there. Now, that is a team, by the way, that did lose a lot of games. I know they went to Rupp and got just trounced late in that season, lost 80-53. And then after that, they won 12 in a row before losing. Well, they beat Virginia, but it counted as a loss because of a horrendous refereeing error. But Auburn lost 7 conference games that year that they went to the Final Four. Lost to Ole Miss, Kentucky, South Carolina, Mississippi State, LSU, Ole Miss again. Got swept by Ole Miss and then lost to Kentucky. I believe that was the game where Stephen Pearl threw up his hands when Dylan did a big dunk down 30 and started screaming like Dylan did like a tomahawk and started hollering like he'd actually done something at a point in the game where Kentucky had basically just conceding buckets, and Stephen Pearl was just like, oh my God, what are we doing? Let's see. Hayden says Auburn basketball down 10, and I still feel pretty good. Auburn football up 10, and I'm so stressed. Let's give him the truth. He's not wrong on that. There is no situation with the football team where I felt okay until the buzzer sounds and they're leading. That's it. Basketball, I'm not concerned at this point. I mean, it's going to take some effort, but they've shown that they can come back from this. Cass DP thinks it's time to put Blake in there to send a message to Clayton. Be a little physical with him. Punch him in the fucking throat. See if he backs down a little bit. I think I like it. I like the idea. Maybe Presley Patterson could go in there and like just knee him right in the nuts. Call him a bad name. Like not a slur or anything. Just like, something rude. Like, hey, you're ugly, or your mama's broke or something. I don't know. All right, so Florida's going to start off with an easy bucket or just an easy dunk. Same basic concept there where there's a lot of pressure up top and they just dish it out and he's just waiting for it under the rim. So a defensive failure to open the second half is not a great start. They're trying to go to Janai, and I thought the look was got some Harry Houdini dishing from Janai right there to hit Dylan, who missed the dunk, but he got fouled. You know what happened on that is that Dylan took a risk, and I think it just backfired on him. On a Florida's easy bucket there. That's Dylan taking a risk. Not a bad one, but he took one nonetheless, and he just didn't get it done. It's kind of like when a goalie comes out on a cross in soccer, and they have to get their hand on that ball, and if they don't, they leave themselves open to, oh, God bless. Oh, he misses the free throw, gets his own rebound, and dunks it home. That's a quick redemption story right there. Oops, I meant to put 40, my bad, Florida fans. Damn, another pretty easy bucket there for Florida, guys. We talk about they're just hitting shots, but, I mean, that's not a tough shot. They deserve credit. That's a shot they earned. They definitely are focusing on Janai offensively, whether it's going to be as a pass or as an attacker himself or whatever. He's just backing that old boy down, dude. Oh, he just didn't finish. Oh, he just sunned that dude and couldn't put the ball in the bucket. Yeah, Spicy Pieces Broom has missed so many. I just feel like, so many should have hit at least 3. Oh, Denver misses a wide open 6-footer, 8-footer. Oh, man. Dylan and Miles are trying to play a 2-man game there, and I like where it was going, but there you go. That's a smart play from Chad Bacon. They didn't call that? That dude landed on Chad when he's shooting a 3, and they said, no, he's good. What in the world? Auburn's just getting absolutely just drugged right now. I mean, let's be real about it. Just getting skull dragged. Oh, well, that'll stop it right there for at least a moment. Janai with a really nice, he split this is Chad Bacon Lasagna here. He split the defense with a pass to Janai, and then he had a really nice, like, bi-level finish where he went high and then low and put it in. Really nice. Florida's getting too many easy buckets right here. Just too many. I think that's 3 easy buckets now in this first segment just alone. Stoop Up says better than us. I don't know about that, but they're playing better than Auburn. There's no doubt about that. I still think Auburn's going to get back in this game. No problem. But they can't win this game by giving up this many easy buckets. You just can't do it. That looked a lot like the football team right there, didn't it? Getting beat on a deep pass and just I don't know what to tell you on that one. That's just a good play. It's a nice inbounds pass, nice catch. Good body control to get that ball put in. It hits the free throw. I mean, it's just good basketball. Auburn's got to do a better job on that. Chad Bacon Lasagna with kind of a so-so opportunity there. Misses it from 3. Florida's going to win this segment too. That's going to be 5 segments in a row. We're going to give Florida the win here. Still got a minute left in this segment, but Auburn's going to have an amazing run just to salvage this segment. D. Lucky says they finish and we don't. That's just the truth. That's been the case in this game for sure. Neil says, I know this isn't an L yet, but sometimes it ain't a bad thing to reset and realize that you aren't as good as you think you are, which is true, but I think it's also good to put your foot down in the middle of a game and say, nah, this is bullshit. We're better than this, and turn it around. This will be a fine time to do that. Mitch says this was going to happen at some point, I guess. Spicy Pieces, please don't lose by 20 at home. Miles beat his man badly and just, I don't understand the finish. Like he was driving to kind of lay it in off the glass. And it didn't work. And Florida goes down and hits a 3. This is getting bad in a hurry. Auburn has not been taken for a ride like this year. Miles Kelly with a 3. Can't get it to go. But when it rains, it pours, guys. Still not to the first segment yet. I think Miles got confused as to whether he was going to dunk that or he was going to lay it up, and he kind of got stuck in no man's land. And Sam H says bricked a layup, dude. They've been bricking layups the whole game. Let's be real about it. Auburn is now 6 of 15 on layups. 6 of 15. Seriously. They're 5 of 8. And Auburn's 6 of 15 on layups. Auburn still doesn't have a dunk in this game. They're considering calling an intentional foul here on Janai for just kind of reaching out and grabbing the guy. Mitch says, imagine camping out since Tuesday for this garbage. And Melee says, Mr. and Mrs. Neville have entered the transfer portal. Oh, my goodness. Solo Tigre says, what the hell are we doing? And Lockdown says, not having fun. Reynolds Wolf says, I'm sorry, first segment? Yeah, I was just talking about, we've been dividing the game into segments this one. 4-minute segments. And we gave Auburn the edge in the first segment of the first half, and then Florida, and then last 4. And then the first segment of this half, this is going overwhelmingly in Florida's side in this one. So, oh, that's true. Anonymous says Dylan dunked his free throw miss. There's no doubt that he dunked that, but on the official stats, they're still showing 0-0 on dunks. But there's no doubt. You're absolutely right about that. I'm not sure. Maybe they counted that as a layup or something else. I don't know. But yeah, that was a dunk 100%. If this ends up going as an intentional foul against Janai, you just got to really wonder what he was thinking. I mean, there was no chance he was going to be able to make a play on that ball. Okay, so it wasn't an intentional foul. It's fine, but it was still a weird foul. At that time in the game, you're not so tired that you're just desperate for something. That's an open shot again. Another offensive rebound for Florida. If I was Florida, I would continue to shoot threes too. Why not, man? Every one of those is just a kick in the nuts. But they didn't hit him. They went 0 for 2 on that possession. Tahad now takes a crazy three-point, misses it, doesn't even hit iron. Janai got the rebound, but could not stick it back in. This is a mess. Carter says, we're done. This is pathetic. Bench them, quit bitching, and do something. Easy to cry and moan, a lot harder to sack the F up. They just got second chance opportunity right there. 62-43 now for the Gators. I mean, they're just getting outworked, guys. I mean, I'm just being real. Auburn's not playing well. Auburn's not hustling. Oh, Tahad finally puts a merciful end to this awful drought with the drive and kind of wrong-handed puts that ball in, and he's going to get a free throw when we come back from this break. Daniel P. says this is an embarrassing performance. And listen, to be honest with you, to this point, it's been bad. Let's get this second half box score, at least, so far, is going to be absolute carnage. But we got to take a look at the numbers, plus, good, bad, or ugly. We've got to be real about it with ourselves, because if we're not real, I'm sorry, Neil. My bad, bro. I don't know why I'm doing that. If we're not real about it, then what are we doing? All right. Hot Fresh Stats. Now, this is just going to be this is the box score from this half only, okay? So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and give Florida the edge on this segment. 14-7. So they start right off with a +7. And these are almost exactly the opposite numbers we saw in the first segment of the first half, right, where Auburn was playing so well and Florida was really struggling. Points per possession, 1.55 for Florida, 0.778 for Auburn. It's like, eesh. 3 of 11 from the floor for the Auburn Tigers. 1 assist and no turnovers is good. 6 rebounds to 8 in favor of Florida. So Neil says neither a Welsh nor Scottish accent. I don't even know what it is, bro. And Solo says, what are you on about? Chip says Broom has been trash outside of assists in the first half. It's actually true. Janai is not finished at all tonight. I mean, he's usually a great finisher. That's why he's shooting like 68% from the floor this year, but that has not been the case tonight. And I feel like the shot quality has been solid for him. Like on par with normal. He's 4 of 12 from the floor with 9 points. He has 4 boards. He has 2 blocks, 4 assists, and 1 turnover. So, I mean, if he hits, let's say, 2 or 3 more shots, he's probably right on par with where he usually is. But those 3 make a big difference, you know. Spicy Pieces, Auburn is 6 of 15 at the rim. Will the media please ask about why we suck at layups? See, that's an example of a question that you can't ask in a press conference, Spicy. I like to see, like, in a sentence, tell me how you would say that to BP. Say, BP, you guys can't hit layups. Your thoughts? Was that what you would ask? Because it's way more complicated than that. Like, the problem is not Auburn not being able to hit layups, right? When they do layup line at practice, they're 100%. So they can hit layups. Why are you not finishing at the rim today? Right? That's the question. And he's going to say, well, Florida's defense and blah, blah, blah. But Chip says give room 4 of those misses, and Auburn is down 8-10, which is still like an anxiety-ridden moment, right? But better. And on him, Cassidy P notes correctly that Janai is 4 of 12 from the floor, so I'd say about 33%. I would love to hear what VP's saying right now. Spicy Pieces. BP, your layup percentage is X over the last 10 games. The league average is Y. I'm going to come back to that. Any idea why Auburn isn't doing that well? He would just tell you it has to do with the shot quality or something like that, or the defense we're facing is what he would say. Now, until today, the weird thing has been the games where Auburn has missed a lot of layups is that the opponent has missed a lot of layups too. Remember in the Georgia game, Auburn missed 10 layups, and then Georgia missed 10 layups. In the Ole Miss game, Auburn missed a bunch of layups, and so did Ole Miss. So it's been kind of both teams. Now, today has not been the case like that. Florida's been getting their job done at the rim. They've gotten the work done, and that's been the difference, really. Not really at the rim though. It's just Florida's been shooting well. Like to me, that's a pretty quality shot right there that they missed over the down screen. MC Tigger thought that the energy on the bench did not look good during that last timeout. I have to agree. They looked a little defeated in a way. They're just not used to this. That is too easy of a shot for Florida. They hit a three-pointer right there, and it's just too easy. I mean, that guy's been open all night. Hornacia says, if it makes y'all happy, my cookies turned out crappy. Hey, that actually rhymes. We could turn that into a cat in the hat kind of thing. Feel like a stranger says, finish through contact, stop looking for a foul, finish the shots. Yeah, it's exactly what Brady would say. Physicality, being able to absorb contact and get the ball on the rim, and the way people are defending us, they're playing, aggressively with us. Because the book's out on Auburn, right? That's what he would say. He said that a couple, maybe 3 press conferences ago. $65-47 in flavor of the Florida Gators right now. I don't think any of us saw this coming. I thought they could lose it, but not. Oh, geez, Louise! I just hit another one. This is actually at a point where Auburn might need to take advantage of Florida getting complacent. Florida might be playing so well that they kind of let off the accelerator a little bit, and that gives Auburn an opportunity. But so far, Auburn hasn't shown that. Now, that shot right there, Florida's last 3-point shot, defended well. I mean, Tejada's where he's supposed to be. He was defending that shot well without fouling him and just hit the shot. So, can't complain about that one. Carter says, we have to care to be panicked. A team that gives a shit doesn't play this way. I'm still not there yet. I like to kind of wait until... I like to get the body of work before we go too deep into it. Because if they make a great rally here, then that's part of the game too, But there's no doubt Florida's brought the punch to Auburn today. And Spicy P notes another missed layup. Now, Dylan did get his hands on that rebound there and got fouled on his attempt to get the ball back in. But the bottom line is that another missed opportunity at the layup again at the rim. I mean, this one's from Miles. Cassidy P's ready for a bunny counter. I like that. All right, so Dylan did hit a free throw there, 1 of 2. Janai just looks dazed. I think Florida did this. Did they do this to Tennessee up in Thompson Bowling maybe 2 weeks ago? They went off. All right, Dylan is playing more this half for sure, and I think he's playing better. That's one area where it's gotten a little bit better. All right, Chaney took advantage of a defensive mistake there. Hornatius wants to know if Auburn's in the danger zone. We're so used to in the football games of putting Auburn in the danger zone, right? We don't do that much with basketball. All right, so you're still going to call a foul on the floor grabbing when Chaney was about to get that ball off, which is probably a really wise foul. He was about to get a straight layup. I thought that was Tahad, wasn't it? Give it to him. Splash. Kind of a challenging three-point shot, but Tahad splashed it, so that was good. Did I say Tahad? It might have been Denver. Oh, now Auburn gets a steal in transition, and Miles is able to finish at the racks to get them up to 53. You can turn Florida over a little bit and get it going. That would be nice. Auburn hasn't gotten out. I think we just saw Coconut Bra guy just wasn't wearing the coconut bra, which is probably wise. So that was Tahad that hit that three. I just didn't see him. All right, so it was a quick 5 right there for Tahad, steal, Miles Kelly layup. Breaks Florida's really nice run there where they were just pushing Auburn down. Let's see where we're at, what the clock is at. It's at 13:11. And Florida called that timeout. So I guess Golden got a little bit rattled. Auburn's now on a 6-0 run in a 50-second burst right there. I guess that would be, Dylan's free throw plus the 3 splash plus Miles' layup there. So that's a nice little push for Auburn. Still down 15, though. Scott C. wants to know, is the hole too deep to dig out of? My answer would be never too deep. If they were down 35, yeah. But I think this is doable. But it's going to take a whale of an effort. And they got to find some way to get some stops. To me, that's the problem here. The biggest problem. I should say that problem. There's several problems right now. But the biggest one for me is 68 points they've already given up. And, I mean, in my opinion, you give up 80 at home, that's too much. And so they're really close to that already. Yabo says God's phone ain't been ringing all night. Come on, man. That's funny. Come on. That's funny, guys. That's funny. Don't get so upset that you lose your sense of humor on this stuff. Let me get another box score here for the second half and take a gander at some of these statistical trends that maybe are maybe starting to turn Auburn's way a little bit. They've had a good last minute. I'll give them that. Hey, you got to start out with little positive things, okay? They had a good minute. If one good minute turns into a good 5 minutes, then hey, man. This is the wrong one. That's the right one. All right, so it was 7-14 earlier. And then that last part of that last segment, Auburn's closed it just a little bit. Both of these teams are shooting pretty well from the floor, though, honestly. I mean, 8 of 15 for Florida. 6 of 16 for the Auburn Tigers, 10 rebounds for Auburn, 9 for Florida. So that's a step in the right direction. Another thing I like is 3 assists and no turnovers. That's terrific. But they have 6 assists and 1 turnover, so that's really good for them. Fast break, Florida's plus 9 in this half. Wow. Yowzers. And that's just those easy buckets they got in the very beginning of the half. And they've got to stop it there. Got to cut that off. Small Victory says God's calls are being sent to voicemail. Come on, that's funny, guys. It's funny. Come on, that's good. Cassidy P would like to see Auburn get this down to 10 points at the 10-minute mark. There's Dickie V talking to one of his heroes, John Shire. I'm sure whoever coaches Duke is probably Dick Vitale's favorite person. He just absolutely loves him some Duke Blue Devils, and I don't understand why, but he does. And at this point, I'm happy if Dick V's happy. D. Lucky thinks if they use all the defensive effort that we saved for the first half, we can get back in this game. It's going to take some defensive stops, period. It's going to take a good number of them. Florida is cooling off from three-point range, and there's a silly turnover from Denver right there. Good God almighty, man. You actually get a stop, and you just turn the ball over in the full court, just on a lazy pass. Golly, man, that is such a stinger. And if they come out in here and score, you're just like, fart. You're expending so much energy on defense, God bless. To just turn the ball over on the full court like that is just, And they get a little alley-oop dunk there and push it back to 17. Denver, come on, bro. Tahad now on the ball. I mean, it's a nice play from Chaney. I'm going to give him a drop on that. Drop? Man, I think that's like a 25% shot. 12 minutes to go, so we're going to have a TV timeout coming up. Without that silly Denver turnover and then Florida getting an immediate bucket, I would have considered giving this segment to Auburn. In fact, I'm going to have to make a decision here at the 11:47 mark that I would probably call that an even one. I'll give UF won the first segment, and the second one I'm just going to call even. Chip says take Denver out. Tahad and Miles got to go run it. I don't like Miles doing that at all. I would rather Tahad and maybe Chad do that. Neil says Denver ain't getting invited to my family barbecue tomorrow. Damn, dude, it's tough to downgrade him just over that, huh? That's tough. I'm going to leave these stats up here because they've only changed. I think we've only had 3 possessions since three total possessions since I posted them. Lockdown says killing us on the dang pick and rolls. It was the DHOs in the first half. It's been a little different here in the second half because Auburn pressured them so much and they changed it up a little bit. But just some basic numbers now. Miles is 16 points. He's leading the team with 16 points on 7 of 14 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3. His other numbers really aren't much there. Your second leading scorer is Tahad. Interestingly, because I don't feel like he's played that much. They're giving him 15 minutes so far. 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, 2 assists, and no turnovers. So he's been a plus for sure. Dylan's got 3 points on 1 of 2 shooting, 1 of 4 from the line, 7 boards leading the team, 0 assists, 1 turnover, no blocks or anything like that. And your biggest plus-minus guy right now, because everybody's minus or even, is Chaney at minus 15. 9 points on 4 of 7 shooting on the plus side, but defensively, obviously, he has not been helping very much. Despite the fact that he's a block and 2 steals. So it's been pretty uneven. And honestly, when you look at, like right now, think of those of you who've been watching the games all the way through, like which Auburn player has been, the main guy. I would be tempted to say Janai. But it's been Miles Kelly, and it's kind of weird that you wouldn't know that. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong. Maybe you guys are seeing that a lot better than I am. But nobody's really stuck out to me as like, okay, this guy's absolutely balling out. Like nobody. And there's guys on Florida's team. That number 7 dude has been balling out, and number 1's been balling out in this game too. So like it's pretty easy to pick them out, but Auburn not as much. Maybe that's why they're down 15. P-Pass, what up, bro? Says bringing in Jakai and feed the anger. Whoa. That's a 5% chance right there, I think. But maybe that's what it takes. I don't know. Cassidy P says, somebody put Chad Baker-Mazara in the witness protection program, ? Cam's stolen laptop says, does our perimeter defense worry you for the tournament? Duke and Florida have been complete busts in that respect. I mean, it kind of shakes me a little bit to know that Auburn can get booty blasted this hard at home because we haven't seen it from this team. But generally, no, I'm not super worried because I think of Denver as a plus defender. I think of Tahad as an okay defender. I think of Chad as a click above average defender. And I think of Miles Kelly as an average or maybe half a click above average. So, I mean, they're fine. They're fine up there, I think. I think for me, it's more about backcourt attacking because Denver's not reliable enough. Tahad is-ish. And Chad is showing tonight that he can disappear when we thought he was good. Mega Tiger jumps in with a super chat. Says, can we get ICE to come get this Ukrainian assassin refugee off the court? Dude doesn't miss. First of all, I'm clapping in my support for Ukraine as long as it doesn't include my tax money. And two, that was pretty funny, Mega Tiger. I like that. Have we got another timeout here? Coach Corey Williams giving BP some ideas there. All right, so Denver's going to go to the line here. You feel pretty good about that. Feel like a stranger says, now we have to look at pics of Florida chalkies going fishing. I like that. Russell says, getting run out of the building by a bunch of white boys. Who knew? Well, Walter Clayton ain't white, and he's been a big part of what's been going on here. For sure. But, yeah, Condon and whatever the number 7's name is, they are bringing it tonight. What are they trying to do here? What? They're trying to say that maybe Denver, that was an intentional foul with him grabbing that guy's arm, but he didn't actually grab the guy's arm. There's no way. Yeah, I'm with Yabo on this. That doesn't mean that's what it's going to be adjudicated, but I'm with you on that. He let him go, and I mean, that ain't Denver either. We watch Denver play every 2 times a week. He ain't that guy. Boy, what is it? AU Tiger 8820 is going to be. He's going to start in with his Zep Jasper bullshit again. Where he says, "Oh, well, Denver's just Zep Jasper." Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and give Auburn another point there. Auburn has been playing a little bit better, but it was too little, too late at this point. It's going to take a big surge to try to get this thing turned back around a little bit. Oh, stop with that flopping bullshit. I'm glad they didn't call that. I thought we were going to start giving fouls out for simulated contact. I'm so sick of this. Remember they used to do this to Jared and Bryce in 2019? They threatened to slap them with personal fouls for simulation. And it's just lame, man. Nobody had a hand on him above his waist, and he's doing the whole headbang like he's being punched in the jaw. Get out of here with that. All right, get Denver off the court, man. Get Denver off the court. He's not helping. Not only that, he's hurting. Oh, jeez. Oh, look at the fortuitous bounce right there. Ouch, man. Oh, Florida's got 72, man. Jeez Louise. Yeah, Denver's been such a negative today. Jeez, come on, dude. He's a rhythm shooter, and they're not even using him that way. He's been on the ball too much. God, Chaney with a nice little play right there. Let's give him a drop for that one. That was nice.
Drop!
Oh, they're going to finally put Janai back in? maybe your player of the year would be this would be a good time to play him. Boy, look at them overplaying that screen. Good God. Auburn has put so much effort into jamming those. Oh, they're going to give him that shot again. Oh, it's like, you better not hit that. Whether it was the ice, the DHO or the screens, they have been really, really trying to screw them up and gunk them up. I don't think it's been worth the extra effort. I don't think overall it has been. Boy, Tahad's trying so hard to get around that guy, and he's right there with him, man. Oh, Dylan, I thought I was going to get that board. Hey, man, Dylan's trying. I like the effort from Dylan. I like the effort from Tahad. I like the effort from Miles Kelly. I do not like the effort from Chad. I don't understand why Janai's been out for like the last 6 minutes. I'm confused about that. I don't understand that. He only has 5 minutes in this half. It means he just got back in. He sat out an entire segment. Like, you can't tell me he's tired. He's only got like 20 minutes played. Oh, Tahad. Oh, I thought they were going to call him for simulation on that. It was interesting why Tahad kind of freelanced that play, too. It didn't seem to be in concert with what everybody else was doing when they were doing. You could tell they were just kind of pressuring to slow down, and Tahad was like, nah, I'm going to keep pushing this guy. And he forced him out of bounds, so, I mean, take it. It's a good thing. Stoop Up says he's going back to the JPP, Will. I mean, you're my guy, Stoop Up, but there's a lot of problems right now, and that's not in the top 10 for me right at this moment. I mean, Denver has games where he plays well. This is not one of them, and I don't understand why. There you go. There's finally, we got some passing tempo, and Chaney gets a shot and puts it in from about 8 feet, so that's nice. Auburn's got this down to 12. Cassidy P said he really wanted to see Auburn get this thing down to 10 points at the 10-minute mark. They didn't quite get there, but they're getting pretty close. Spicy P says Chaney's our saving grace today. It's actually true, man. Chaney's, small victories. Thank you.
He's heating up.
That's for Chaney right there. He's playing much better basketball right now. Auburn's also starting to get some deflections in transition. Like they're putting a little more emphasis on full court pressure, and they got that turnover on the baseline just a minute ago, and they also created some drama there with a deflection that ultimately is going to result in free throws for Florida, but a lot of times that stuff leads to good things. Asking about Florida's free throw shooting, let me see. They are 12 of 14 from the line today. The Auburn Tigers are 7 of 14 from the line today. Florida's also done a very nice job defensive rebounding today. Let's be real. I don't feel like Auburn's been getting enough second chance opportunities, which is usually a big part of what they do. Oh, Florida with an unforced turnover there. Spicy P, I have got Florida as 12 of 14 from the free throw line. Official stats, I'm telling you right now. Thomas Haw missed one, and Condon missed one. I'm kind of excited. Auburn's got 9 minutes here to just do something. Come on now. Oh, okay. That's another. They ran that same machination about 6 possessions ago where CBM split a double team with a bounce pass to Janai, who's cutting right in front of him. Actually, Janai's backing off that screen, and then he goes right in and finishes. It's delicious, delightful play. And it's frustrating for Florida because they're trying hard too. Their defense has been pretty aggressive. Janai missed that free throw by the equivalent of a country mile, but Miles Kelly saved it. Oh,
Oh, shit. Splash.
Little frenetic situation there where Janai missed the free throw super badly. We got a couple saves, and ultimately Janai zips the ball over to Miles, who hits a corner. A Scotty Pullman 3 and gets us down below 10 now with about 8 minutes to go. Chad, come on, that was a foul, bro. Don't be bitching about that one too much. Man, that was a big shot. Super quick release from Miles on that. So Miles gets a save. Tahad's going to get stuffed by the rim, I think. Janai's going to make a really nice pass right here to get the ball out to Miles, and he just immediately pulls in Splash City, man. That was big, big time. I knew all along that Miles Kelly was going to be a big part of this team, and, I mean, he hasn't been as big of an effect. He hasn't had as big of an effect as I thought he would. But he can make a difference now. He can do a lot of stuff. Small victory. So Scotty P reference on the day that they're feting the 98-99 team. If you guys don't know, and the Small Victories does, but some of you younger guys, that team in 98-99 had a white guy named Scotty Pullman, and he loved shooting from the corner. They called it Scotty's Corner. And Old Beard Eves. Oh, okay, so Miles missed a 3, but Janai was there for a little stick back action. All right, now this is Auburn basketball. They're in the flow now, and there's still 8 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time to get back in this. But they've got to get some defensive stops. Now they've been better on defense here. They've had let's say last 3 or 4 minutes. They've been better on defense. And Florida's getting a little rattled here. They're having to reset at 9 seconds to go on their shot clock right now. So this is going to be an ISO. Auburn's got him absolutely wrapped up. There is no way he's going to score that bucket, but they get an offensive rebound. Yeah, their rebounding has been their defensive and offensive. Florida's been good at that. Now they got another second chance. There's a third chance opportunity. Fuck me, man. That's like a fourth chance opportunity. Man, that's tough. That Auburn Tigers had that kid's wearing the dark blue with the orange cursive writing. That's badass. That's the best looking Auburn hat I've seen in a while. That must be from that pop-up shop where they've got the old school stuff tonight. Jeez, man. Oh, God. There's just like these little plays. Like, remember Denver's like really lazy turnover in the full court maybe 6 or 7 game minutes ago where they went right down and hit a 3 and you're like, fucking A, you know? And that one right there, I mean, Auburn's right on the verge of being able to get a couple stops and really put this thing in doubt, you know? They would take Florida's edge off, and they give up 3 second chance opportunities, and they hit a 3. It's like, can't do that. Can't do that. Cassidy Pisa's just got to get the damn rebound. You can't put it better than that. Just got to get your hands on the ball and pull it in. You've got to do it. At the end of the day, Auburn's just getting just manhandle on the offense on the glass, really both ends. Now, the numbers don't look that bad. I mean, Florida's ahead by 4 on rebounding, and Auburn has officially 12 offensive rebounds, which is not bad, but at this point, it's the defensive rebounds. It's like fucking A for Florida. They got 22. They're 6 of 10 on layups. They're 4 of 4 on dunks. The Auburn Tigers are 11 of 24 at the rim. 11 of 24. It's impossible. It's impossible. If we weren't watching it, we wouldn't believe it was impossible. Oh, I got a drink, man. Fucking A. What is this? Let me go ahead and get the Frot Fresh stats up before we take a drink, though. Hot, fresh stats. That's right. I can't get points off offensive rebounds. I can see second chance. I can get second chance points, which is akin to what you're asking, Spicy P. You can see second chance points. Auburn's actually ahead this half. Now, this is just the box score for the half. And it's telling in the sense that Florida was up big. I mean, that first segment for Florida was a wildfire plus for them. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and give Auburn the edge in this third segment of the second half. That is the first segment win for Auburn since the very beginning of the first half. This was hugely in Florida's favor at one point. Now Auburn's kind of whittled it back down to a +2 this half. And Russell's correct. He says Florida's been good on the boards all year. Honestly, we've been middle at best, and that's one of the areas where Auburn's got to be better. And we knew coming into this game that Florida's a great rebounding team. They're a physical team. We knew it was a game where you have to get more physical, and Auburn's not a super physical team. And that's why I get concerned about when I think about Florida. I think about Texas A&M. I think about Missouri, although Auburn just crushed Missouri, but they're just a physical ball club. Texas A&M just finished off their win at Missouri, which these days is tough. And I am right. I've been telling you guys, not that you guys have been arguing with me, but I've been telling you Texas A&M is legitimate. And their physicality is going to be a problem for Auburn, too. They've got to find a way. Auburn's got to find a way to be able to dial up the physicality when it's necessary. It just has to happen. It has to happen. You have to have that gear. You're going to face some team out there. I don't know who the hell it is, whether it's like some team like St. John's or Providence or UConn or San Diego State. Somebody out there is going to physical your ass up in Charleston or somewhere like that, and you got to know how to handle it. And this is where you learn right now. I don't like this shot at all from Janai. I have no idea what he's doing there, but Dylan made a great job. Dylan did a great job of getting that offensive rebound. Cats DP notes that Buzz always gives Auburn fits. It's absolutely true. He's just good at it, and his teams just badger the hell out of you. It's kind of like what Missouri does. In fact, Missouri and Texas A&M playing together is kind of funny when they face off because that's just a game of who can troll each other harder. I know, Spicy P. That might be the worst shot we've seen Janai take all year. Now you've got Dylan at the line again, and you kind of know how this is going to go, right? Misses the front end of a 1-and-1 in a 7-minute game. Come on, bro. I mean, Florida's wisely going to slow this thing down. They're just going to get a little stick in right there. 81 points, guys, with almost 7 minutes to go. Defensively, just getting absolutely torched right now. I mean, it's been better the last 5 minutes, but at the end of the day, I mean, they're going to give up 90 points in this game. Janai is way behind on this machination. He was nowhere near where he's supposed to be. He wasn't in position to get a defensive offensive rebound. Like, he just doesn't seem into it at all. Now, I don't love that shot from Tahad, but oh, geez. Auburn had two guys. As far as I'm concerned, in the second half, Dylan gets my MVP vote, and nobody else is even getting votes on this. Dylan's playing his nuts off. I don't care what anybody says. Janai with a nice stick back right there. I mean, all the things that are going really well for Florida, right? And they're still only up 12. I mean, they've played a great game. But it feels like that Florida should be up like 20 at this point or more. They've been so much better than Auburn all day long. Janai, hey, I like to challenge that on that, though. Why is Denver back in the game? Oh, my God, no! Oh, my God. Denver, what are you doing? Denver with another crucial fuck-up in a crucial situation. I'm going to give him an F today. He's been so bad. Another second chance opportunity for Florida. This is almost just getting comical. And they hit a 3. Oh, my God. 84. Yeah, Spicy, I'm with you, man. We're in a danger zone.
He's heating up.
Oh, God, wrong one. My bad.
The danger zone. This is your redheads, your strippers, anyone named Tiffany. This is where your car gets keyed, you get a bunny in the pot, your tires get slashed, and you wind up in jail.
Hey, breaking news. Auburn just missed another shot at the rim. We got to get this number up. Got to find out what the number is now. 12 of 27 at the rim, guys. 12 of 27. I believe that was Ira Yabo. Talk about who had the scout. It's always two people. I'm not sure who the second one was. But I believe it was Ira's turn. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Cassidy Pieces bunny counter. 12 of 27 at the rim, guys. 12 of 27. And they're 7 of 13. So Auburn has had twice as many opportunities at the rim and can't hardly hit one. I just can't. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And I do not mean that to say that like Florida doesn't deserve this, because Florida absolutely deserves this. They have done the job. We're going to go back and take a look at the overall stats here, because some of these, we're at the point in the game where I think it's more useful to just see the overall box now. God, man, some of these numbers just kind of weird me out. I thought the rebounding, it just seems worse to me. I mean, Florida's only up 5 on rebounding, but it sure seems like double that. Jeez Louise, man. I'm actually angry at Denver. I'm actually angry. Like, what is he doing? How can a guy that age has played that much basketball just have such a terrible game? And it's just like it just stays bad. Like, it never gets better. All right, so Auburn's shooting 43%. They're shooting 51%. That's a little bit of a problem. Again, they're plus 5 rebounding, which is not great for Auburn. Points off turnovers, they're plus 2, so that's really not a big deal here. Fast break opportunities is they're up 8, which is weird. Auburn's usually very good in the fast break, not tonight. Points in the paint, Auburn's actually been a little bit better than them, but they've been hitting the threes, man. 12 of 30 now for them. Auburn is 6 of 18. And Auburn's 14 assists and 6 turnovers is a pretty good ratio. Like, that's usually tells you that the passing's been okay. But the passing really hasn't been the problem tonight, has it? It's been finishing at the rim specifically. And you're talking about the things that Cassidy P's asking about, the bunny misses. I mean, 20 assists and 12 turnovers for Florida. I mean, 20 assists. That tells me that their passing's been good too. Man, oh man, oh man. Desperado says weird vibe in this game. It has been a weird vibe. Like, I didn't really think Auburn could lose a game with these statistical markers, because if they're losing this bad at home, you would expect to see something on this stat sheet that was just completely out of pocket. And the only number here that surprises me, that I didn't expect, well, nothing really. I mean, they're 12 of 30 from 3, which is good. I mean, it's 40%. It's not some crazy 60% would be something where, it'd be more like 16 out of 30. Then I'd be like, holy cow. But 14 offensive rebounds for Auburn. I mean, that's good. And it's just been just general malaise defensively. Yeah. Yeah, Daniel D. correctly notes that Auburn cannot play like this at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt got another home win today, and they play great at home. And Auburn's going to be going into a place that you play like this, they're going to lose at Vanderbilt. You're right. Yeah, free throws. That's a good point, Rob. Kind of mentioned that. I mean, Auburn's 7 of 16 at the line. I mean, they're generally a pretty good free throw shooting team. The problem is that Dylan's been at the line. He leads the team in free throw attempts, and he's 1 of 5. That's kind of where you get into trouble a little bit, But where you don't get in trouble is when Tahad's the line getting 2 for 2, so that helps. So 13-point lead right now. I feel like Florida should be up like 25. Damn, Tahad almost got that ball on that inbounds. Zach Wise says, free throws are killing us, and we are getting pushed around. There's no doubt Auburn has not stepped up to the physical challenge in this game, in my opinion. Although the rebounding numbers are not that out of pocket at all. But I think, to me, Zachary, it's been more about just not finishing at the rim, which is in and of itself part of a physical problem, right? Dude, Chad damn near lost that ball out of bounds. I was just going to be like, what? Miles got a great look right there, and he just bricked it, man. If they hit this, that's a complete wrap. That's completely over. Now we got Chad down again. Chad's down twice a game anyway, but I joke with Clark Pearson, the trainer. I'm like, how many times you got to go? There's probably Clark right there. No, yeah, that might be Clark, actually. Yeah, it's just Chad being Chad. I think part of his Chad's just he's such a thin person. I think he gets knocked around a little bit. It is Clark Pearson. I just didn't recognize him from behind. University of Kentucky graduate. Like me. Looks like Chad actually got hit by his own teammate there. A little friendly fire from Dylan. He's going to go off the court. How about that? Maybe woozy after that one. Hornatius says, I picked a hell of a basketball season to stop drinking. Patrick P. notes that this may be good for Auburn, that they need a good butt kicking. That Kentucky game in 2019 did wonders. It did. Auburn won 12 games straight after that loss at Kentucky that I believe I looked it up earlier. It was about 30 points. Just absolutely got embarrassed. And they're getting embarrassed tonight. It ain't going to be 30 points, but this is shocking to me that it's not shocking that Florida would beat Auburn. It's shocking to me that they would just absolutely run a train on Auburn inside Neville Arena. I mean, this is getting a train run on you. 87 points already. I mean, in Nev, like, this is not the way Auburn plays at home. Janai taking a three does not excite me at all in this point of the game. Janai taking back-to-back threes does not excite me at all, but he hit one. All right, so Janai hits one there and cuts it to 13, excuse me. Stupup, wow. Says this team was never 9-0, number one in the nation. Good. Whoa. Hold on now. Let's not get too far out of hand here. Everybody's got problems. All right, everybody's got problems. Colby says Tennessee ran a train on Florida. I said that earlier, and I thought Florida ran a train on Tennessee. Florida beat the absolute hell out of somebody on their court. I just don't remember who it was. Let me look it up. Florida crushed Georgia, beat South Carolina by 1. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah, they went their own way. So Florida beat Tennessee by 30 in Gainesville, but then went up there to Thompson Bowling and lost by 20. So yeah. Florida typically doesn't play this well on the road, but they are playing great basketball today. And I just don't like the way I don't like the way Auburn's responded to this as much. Now, on the good side, I think they have stepped up their play in this half. I do. I think they're playing better on defense. There's more emotional investment in everything they're doing. I like that part of it, but oh, Jesus. Boy, you better be glad that was a bad alley-oop. And then Denver did another. Oh, my God. Denver has had such a bad game that, like, I just don't. I almost in good conscience can't give them an F. It's just like it's It's almost like an incomplete. Like, God. Travis J says, I don't care about attitudes. Ja'Kai has to play. He's an NBA player. Denver, quiet like the Yale game. I don't know that Kai is an NBA player, but he's an athlete for sure. And I just wonder, is there something he can bring on the attacking end that would help Auburn, right? I mean, Travis, I still think this is a defensive problem for the most part. Not this play right here, but you look at this score, 87 points inside Neville with 2 minutes to go. That is a defense. That tells me that something's wrong defensively. Now, Denver is usually one of their top 2 or 3 defenders. I can't say that in good conscience today. Today, I don't think he's been great defensively. I think he's been just actual kryptonite on offense, and he's been almost okay on defense. Russell says, was it more physical or mental tonight? That is a great question, actually, and I'm not sure how to answer that. I think Auburn has lost this game in a few different ways, and they have different elements of each. I think they didn't handle the physical challenge, and I think when things got bad, they weren't able to kind of summon that extra gear that they've been able to get. I mean, they haven't really. They had one little mini surge where it was like a 5-0 or a 7-0 pop in like 45 seconds earlier in this half. Usually Auburn has 3 or 4 of those a game, and that was the only one I can remember. Where they retort, and they just haven't done much of that. And it feels like Florida's been on the front foot of this game most of the time, and Auburn has not. Janai has been kind of average today too. I mean, he's somebody who's so good every single night, But I bet you if I look at his numbers, we got him right in front of us, they're not horrible. 15 points, 8 boards, 6 assists. Like, that's not bad. There's a nice play from Dylan. Thought he was going to get fouled, but he didn't. Yeah, I feel like a stranger says defensive effort was really bad for a stretch, but I don't like the game plan either. I have to agree a little bit there. You very rarely criticize Auburn for effort, but I think it's a fair criticism tonight. I did not think the emotional investment was there defensively for long stretches of this game. I completely agree with what you're saying on that, and it's shocking to me. I just didn't think we would ever have that problem with this team. Cass DP jumps over the super chat and says, what's the opposite of drop y'all nuts? That's what today was. Got to grow from it. I guess that's when nuts come in to the sack, I guess, or whatever. When you tighten up and your nuts disappear. Just the emotional buy-in defensively just wasn't there at all tonight. And I don't think it was there really at any point. Well, they were better, but the first half was an abject disaster, I think, defensively. Highlighted by Dylan fouling the guy with like 1.7 seconds left in the half at 75 feet away from the basket and then giving up 2 free throws was stupid. Oh, my God. Tahad was such an incredible shake and bake, crossover to get free into the lane, and then he can't figure out what he wants to do, and then he just turns the ball over. Ay, guys. Ah, fart. This one's going to really hurt BP, man. Just getting absolutely crushed by Todd Golden. I mean, Stephen Pearl, too. Like, he's friends with Todd. I mean, they all are. All right, Miles Kelly's going to get 3 free throws. Todd Golden is incensed. He's like, why in the world are you fouling him there? Why would you foul him with 36 seconds to go? Why would you foul him? Just let him shoot the ball they can't win. Russell says Auburn couldn't work for Elon and Doge. No big balls tonight. Come on, man. I love it. That's funny, guys. Come on. He's not being political. He's just having fun. Mike says Florida brought that cold water to Auburn's nuts today. Brought them back in. You're absolutely right. Travis J says, what caused the run in the first half? SEMO, I don't remember, but I came back and we were down after being up 10. Yeah, they started off really hot, Auburn did, and was up double digits after maybe 5 minutes or something like that, and it just kind of slowly went away after they went away from the starters. So I don't want to blame it on SEMO specifically, but it was like SEMO, Turtle, and Chaney came in, and just like the boner went away, you know? And they couldn't get it back, and it just, I don't know. But even with that, I'm not going to lay it on those guys because, shit, SEMO, I don't even know if he's played really much in the second half. I mean, I can't blame it on SEMO. It's just, like, individually, you're thinking about, like, Chad just had a below-average game. Denver had there's not a word. I can't think of the right word. Absolutely abominable game. Like, just, I don't even know what the word is for what Denver's done tonight. Just, like, despicable. I mean, horrible game. Like, antithetical to what Auburn's trying to accomplish is what he's been tonight. Just the worst. Like, there's no way JPP could be worse than what Denver did tonight. There's no way. Now, Miles just stands up there and hits 3 free throws, so that's good. But, I mean, it's not like it's going to help. They're down 9 with 40 seconds to go. I mean, come on, guys. That's a nice pass to get out of that trap right there. Florida's done a nice job all night of passing out of pressure situations. That's been kind of the theme defensively for Auburn, is that they put a lot of pressure on the DHOs and the screens, and they just haven't won enough of those scenarios. Come on, Tahad, hit that. Nope. So that's how it's going to finish right there. 90-81. The Auburn Tigers give up 90 points at home. Jeez. Daniel says SEMO did not cause Broome to get dominated and made to look like a slug compared to their big man. That is 100% fair. That ain't on SEMO at all. And Florida gets its first road win against the number 1 team in program history. Man, you want to whisper, shut up to the crowd and all that. They deserve it. Florida came in there and absolutely big boyed Auburn. And there's no line about that. We're not going to run away from that fact. I'm not going to hide that fact. That's just the way it went down, and that's what we're looking at. Chip says Denver equals 0. Dylan, FT leader. Janai missing bunnies. Those 3 things are absolutely killers. Absolute killers, man. Let's take a look at these final stats, man. We guys, sometimes you just got to sit in the poopy diaper. And I mean, 21 wins this season. They're going to have a bunch more. They're going to have a bunch more. John Cohen giving him a firm handshake there. Todd probably remembers a lot of those folks that are kind of sitting on the sideline that were, big-time Auburn people back when he was here and stuff. It's pretty cool. He would take the time to kind of say, hey, what's up? Although Todd's that kind of guy. He's a good dude. Always very gracious and friendly person when he was coaching here. All right, here's the final numbers, and some of these are, frankly, going to be kind of hard to think about. Duke and Clemson. Like, anyone's going to want to watch Duke. They suck. That team sucks. That school sucks. Blow it out your ass. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. All right, Stu Pup's getting out of control here. We got to calm Stu Pup down. This team is going to be lucky to get to 13-5. It's more than likely going 12-6. Oh my God. Auburn already has 9 wins in the league, by the way. Reynolds says, phenomenal game from Florida. Excellent game plan by Golden. I have to agree. I thought they played great. Daniel P says Florida played their asses off. Our guys seemed disinterested after the first segment. Yeah. Florida was allowed to just dictate this game. I mean, let's just be real. Grind says, it is what it is. I completely agree. In football, right, you get absolutely dominated at home, and it's like, oh, shit, we got problems, right? But in basketball, it ain't like that. You got so many opportunities. A team like Auburn that's going to get into March Madness and move on and on. I mean, they're going to be fighting for 30 wins this year. It's a lot of games. And you can afford to take a dump, which is exactly what Auburn did today. Now, listen, Florida deserves this win. Came out here, shot the ball great, passed the ball great. frustrated Auburn, and critically made great passes out of two different kinds of attacks, really. You know, they were DHOing a bunch in that first half, and Auburn was having some success. And the adjustment that Florida made was to pass with more tempo out of those DHOs rather than be passive about it. And that was the adjustment there. In the second half, they did more like what I would call traditional rolling screens, and it just kind of got them, their eyes were better to pass out and had better vision of the court to get the ball out. So long story short, Auburn thought that pressuring the ball was going to be a big defensive win today, and ultimately I think that was a big defensive L. JBDC Elite checks in, our friendly UK fan, and says that Auburn is fine. It's one game, no worries. I completely agree. I would say that about pretty much anybody unless your team was dog shit. CDF, the man, the myth, the legend himself, pillar of the community, said it looked like an Auburn tourney game. Coming from a guy who's seen a bunch of Auburn tournament games in his life. He loves the Auburn Tigers, and he gets a little frustrated. Not with his team as much because his team hasn't been a source of much frustration this year, but that one was bad. So Yabo makes a great point. How we react from this one says everything. If we come out of Tuscaloosa with a W, I'll be okay. I consider that a long shot. But I would imagine that Ken Palm's probably going to think that Auburn's going to be in a good position to win that game in Tuscaloosa. I'm skeptical myself. Let's see. Stu Pup is in full negative mode. Losses coming at Vandy, at Alabama, at UK, and at Texas A&M. And the finale versus Alabama at home is a toss-up. If the Tennessee effort and this game are any inclination, he probably means any indication. And Mike, I think, Stu, I love you, bro. You've been here for me for years and years, and you're a great member of the community, but I think you're just getting a little carried away. I'm with Mike on this, guys. Florida's a damn good crew that simply wanted more today. I think that's correct. I think that's right. I think Florida's a really good team. They're a top 10 team, and they played with more purpose, and they wanted this game. They played like they were going to just absolutely be dead inside if they lost this game, and Auburn didn't play with that kind of tenacity. I didn't see the emotional investment from Auburn that I saw from Florida. I mean, that's just the truth. I don't know why. Grind, my man, comes in with a super chat saying Florida having multiple bigs. This was the difference in his opinion. We only have one true versatile big. Florida is not a good matchup for Dylan. I could see that. They've got quick bigs, which is something that maybe Dylan isn't great with. Dylan's not a quick big. He is an athletic big. But what's interesting about Dylan is I think some of his best work is when he's defending guards, which is crazy to think about a center. Oh, your center's best defender is a guard? Like your best defensive matchup is against a guard? Kind of. Because he can get bodied a little bit, and Florida's guys aren't big. They just got the better of him today, and I think it's interesting that that happened to such a degree that we saw tonight, right? I mean, because we wrote a story just the other day about Dylan being this great glue guy, and I don't think he had a terrible game. I mean, 5 points on 2 or 3 shooting, 12 boards. Nobody's disgusted with that, and 1 turnover. You know, for him, it used to foul out every game and have a bunch of turnovers. So, 24 minutes is a little low. But, I mean, he got plenty of boards, and you don't really think of him as a scorer. You just do. You'd like to see a little bit more on the free throw line. Just a little bit more. Desperado says, all correct, but why did Simo and Turtle play so much? Something was wrong. That was mostly in the first half. I'm not sure that Turtle played in the second half. And he only played 4 minutes. So, I mean, let's not get carried away with Turtle. Now, Simo, with 11 minutes, I think most of us here would probably like to see Simo play more like 0 minutes, but possibly like as many as 6. Yeah, Travis, when I was watching Dylan, just kind of eyeballing it, I didn't think he was having a good game, but I think you're right. His statistical profile is on par with the kinds of things that he does. 5 points, 12 boards. I mean, that's not bad. It's just that doesn't show the defensive part of it where he was guarding bigs and getting beat too much. I mean, Florida shoots 48% from the floor, 39% from 3, and critically 15 of 18 from the line. I mean, jeez. And that's not all obviously on Dylan. I'm just saying I felt defensively it wasn't quite there tonight. He had 6 blocks in the last game, finishes with 0 tonight. Yeah, I just don't know. Fast break points, Florida's plus 11. Would not have expected that. Auburn plus 8 points in the paint. Florida plus 4 points off turnovers. Second chance points actually favor Auburn tonight by 7, which kind of surprises me. It did seem like Florida, when they would get the offensive rebounds, would use that to then reset instead of going back up. So maybe that had part of it. But Adam P says, kudos to Bruce for benching Janai and CBM. They needed a wake-up call even though we lost. Yeah, Janai was out for a full segment there at a time in a stretch that I thought was absolutely critical to this game. I think it was maybe from the 12-minute mark to like the 7-minute mark or so. You know, Janai was on the bench. He finishes with 30 minutes, which ain't exactly an off night for him, but in a game where you lose by 9 at home, you would expect to see Janai just getting absolutely maxed out and play 34, 35 minutes, and he didn't, and for the reasons you mentioned. But he finishes, Janai does, you know, despite all of that, 18 points on 8 of 19 shooting. That ain't bad. 11 boards ain't bad. 6 assists and 1 turnover is terrific. And 2 blocks. So, I mean, long story short, his stat line looks good. Maybe that's part of the story here. The stats look okay, but the way they played did not look great. It's hard to put a finger on it. I just felt like defensively the quality of the shots for Florida was too damn good, and they hit them. And Auburn was dog shit at the rim tonight. Just atrocious. Pablito checks in with a super chat, my man. Says, Bob Chubb ain't walking through that door, fans. Bruce needs to coach up the boys we've got. Bob Chubb. Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Robert Parrish is not walking through that door, and Kevin McHale's not walking through that door. If they do, they'll be gray and old. Daniel P says the missed layups are becoming a concerning trend. Let me see what the final numbers were on that. On missed layups, which is just an insane stat. 13 of 28. Holy cow. Auburn missed 15 shots at the rim tonight, guys. 15 shots at the rim. They missed more than they hit at the rim. Now, to be fair, Florida finished 8 of 16 at the rim, which they're not going to be happy about that either. But they only missed 8 shots at the rim, and Auburn missed 15. 15, that's 30 points. Now, nobody's going to hit 100% at the rim. Well, unless it's Michael Jordan and shit, but you know what I mean. You hit 4 or 5 at the rim of those misses, and you've got 10 extra points, and you're right back in the game, right? And this ain't nothing new. They did that against Georgia. They did that against Tennessee. They did that against Ole Miss. Small Victory says we're consistently missing double-digit layups, and you're right. This is not the first time. This is not the second time. This is probably the 4th time in the last 6 games that Auburn has missed at least 10 shots at the rim. Travis says Chad looked bad from what he saw. Lapse in defense, only 6 points. Denver with 2 more than you. That's right. Denver was just atrocious tonight, just diabolically bad. Or Vince says we hit those and we win by 20. I mean, nobody's going to be 100%, but we're not asking for 100%. We're asking for like 75%, right? At the rim? Just at the rim. And I'm not criticizing you, Vin. I mean, you're just saying you should be able to hit more at the rim. But yeah, you hit 4 more at the rim or whatever. You missed 15. You hit 7 of those, and you won the game. Let's see. Cassidy pieces to Hod and Denver's assist to turnover tell a story. Let's see. Denver finishes 1 assist, 3 turnovers. To Hod, 3 assists and 1 turnover. So together they're 4 and 4, and that ain't good enough at point guard. No way. You got to do better than that. D. Lucky says Broom has a bad wheel. Still isn't quite there yet. It is hurting his finishing with less explosion. Although explosion's not a big part of his game, but I do think it's probably affecting him. But, you know, long story short, D. Lucky, I mean, 18 points on 8 of 19. You would expect him to probably hit more of those. You know, I'd probably expect him to be 11 or 12 of 19. Considering the shots that he took, a lot of the ones that he missed were inside of 6 feet. Man, I did not expect that to go that way. I did think Florida could win this game for sure, but I didn't think it would go this way. AU Law says it looked like we ate half of those pizzas we handed out yesterday. Oh, man, that's good. Travis J. also mentions they missed 9 free throws as well. I don't know, second chance points for Florida, but it seemed like they had a ton. I know. I don't understand. They end up -7. Well, Auburn, let's put it this way. Auburn's +7 second chance points tonight, which blows me away. I can't believe that. But I mentioned earlier, I think Florida would get these offensive rebounds and they would reset the offense instead of just sticking it back in. I'd be curious. Kanuman says, I would love to see them, see us face them in Nashville. I think that would be a very different story. I personally am of the opinion that if Auburn were to win the regular season conference title, they should just tank it in Nashville. I don't think BP's ever going to say, hey, guys, let's lose. They ain't going to do that. But I don't see any benefit to Auburn at that point having a long run in Nashville. I think you'd be a benefit to just get out of that tournament as quickly as possible, and get home and rest and just chill and get ready for the tournament. You know what I mean? Knuman says nobody was going to beat Florida today. They just had one of those days. I tend to agree. This is pretty good. You score 90 points in Neville. You shoot 43% from the floor. 32% from three ain't great, but they were pretty good at the line as well. I'm sorry, I'm giving Auburn stats. 42% overall, 30% from three, and then 82% at the line. I mean, yeah. Just missed opportunities, man. Too many screw-ups. Too many easy buckets. Blake, my man, is coming in late, but we still love him here. This is JGT having to join late because I had to work. He's a working man, Travis, like you, bro. But I saw that we lost. Oh, no. Fire Bruce. That Blake knows the bunker. How are we going to ever recover? Nah, don't worry about a thing because every little thing's going to be all right. Bump, 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 bump. Don't you worry. JBDC Elite says Coach Cal is probably what he means. 100% agrees with you, JG. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Stoop Up says, laugh at me you want. I'm not laughing. But Tuesday at Vandy is the most important game of the year. That might be fair because you want to see how they respond to this, right? If going to Vanderbilt is not that ain't a place that's been really nice to visitors lately. So D. Lucky says, yes, the Kanuman, they hit inside and outside. Great rebounding and length bothered us in close. That's for sure. Blake, appreciate that super chat, G. And also he's here saying what's up to all the other regulars. Legends, pillars of the community. Ravin also said, only if our league was worse and we wanted to work some things out, would a long run in the conference tournament be worth it? Yeah, at this point, I don't see any benefit to that. I mean, because, I think Auburn's, well, let's just see how it goes. I mean, at this point right now, Auburn's a 1 seed, no doubt about it. Probably the number 1 overall seed, even with this loss to Florida. Now, if they lose, some games here against Vanderbilt, Alabama, Kentucky, whatever, well, that's a little different story. You might be playing for a number 1 seed in Nashville, but by and large, I feel like the conference tournaments don't do a lot except help bubble teams make their case or solidify a case or blow up a case. Teams like Auburn, I feel like there's not going to be a lot on the line there. And I would say the same thing against Tennessee. I would say the same thing about Florida. Maybe they play in for a 1 seed or whatever. I don't know. Chip says, did I ever get the Skype update? I did. Let me see if it's working. It's hard for me to check sometimes. Unfortunately, when I updated Skype, it completely reset all of my numbers and stuff. I don't know. I think it's working though. Maybe I need to try this other one. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Let's see. Stoop Up noting the Vanderbilt game, it's a short turnaround after a physical game. And quite honestly, if you want the regular season title, you can't lose too many more. I agree. Auburn's still, let's see, they're even with Alabama now and maybe a couple games ahead of Florida and 3 games ahead of Tennessee still. Although I think Tennessee's really good. Let's see. Yabo says he wants Janai to come on the presser and give a Tebow speech. I hereby vow to never lose again. Let's see if I can get this call to come through the way that it should. I believe we've got Chip on the line. Chip, are you there? It is working for you. It's not working on the show. It's not picking up on the show. Let me here. Let me try to call you back. All right. All right. This is not a Chip problem. This is a J problem, 100%. So when I updated the Skype, it was like a huge update. Like it was like they're changing the whole paradigm of the whole app. And so sometimes when that happens, it makes it harder. I have to reconnect a bunch of things, and it's hard to do when I'm not on the air, if that makes sense. Audio and video, microphone, yes, speakers, Pro FX. Okay, I think that ought to get it. Let me see if I can get Chip on here. Okay, I'm going to try to call Chip this time. See if you guys can hear him. Yeah, how you doing, bro? Can you hear me all right? No, they still can't hear you. I have to work on this. I'm sorry, brother. See you, Matt. I know you guys aren't hearing that. I have to work on that. I'm sorry. It's really hard to work on when I'm not on the air. And when I'm on the air, you guys are like, God dang, I want to hear what Chip's saying. I just can't get it done. It's frustrating to me, but appreciate you calling in, Chip. You're a man. Mike says, is the conference tournament even going to be a thing in the future? So I absolutely think that basketball, it should be a thing. Football, I've got questions. I think the days of the conference championships are over in football, or they're going to be over. Actually, what's interesting is we've had a couple football players, ask us if they'd heard anything about the 8A game getting canceled. I don't really know where they got that idea because I haven't heard Hugh talk about that, but I know Matt Rule has canceled Nebraska's spring game, and I know Sarkisian has been talking about it. So maybe that's something that's going to start happening in quick succession here. Let's see. Chip says Skype is performing below Auburn's defensive standard today. To be fair, that's probably more of a J problem, J/Ecam. And I'm not sure. When I get the Skype super duper updates, it always screws everything up for me. Chip says he wasn't planning on being very interesting anyway. You always have good stuff to say. Yeah, Mike says we hear nada. I know you didn't. I can see on the thing that there's zero sound coming out of the Skype line, so I knew you couldn't hear it. It's frustrating to me. Kaduma says, you think the conferences are going to give up all that revenue? They bring in a crap ton of money. I think they will continue to bring in a crap ton of money without the conference championship finals. And they're going to say that, well, we're going to cut that game, but we're also giving you whatever the equivalent of 4 rounds of playoff games. I thought the playoffs went too long this year. I felt like they just kept going on and on. Now, part of that might be because the Auburn Tigers weren't involved, and I did not give a shit about these teams that were playing. I just wanted them all to lose, but I don't know. I'm just also not the biggest college football fan in the world. I like basketball better. I love doing football streams. I do. I love it, but I just feel like there's just... In basketball, I feel like you have a win or a loss, and we talk about it for like a day, and then we move on, you know? I like that part of it. Football, it's like you play a game and you lose, and you just got to wallow in it for 6 days. And it's like we almost put too fine a comb on it, you know? Like, I don't know. Chip says the Buffalo Trace fueled rant wasn't coming. I'm really sorry I wasn't able to get you on the line. You were on the line. I couldn't get you on the show. Yabo says, I couldn't care less about conference championships in football. It's just confusing at this point. I think there was a day, as recently as, I don't know, you could argue maybe around the Chiswick era where you really wanted to win a conference championship. I mean, when Coach Dye would win a conference championship, man, that's a big freaking deal. And when Tommy did it and when Gene did it, It's something you're really proud of. But now it's like the playoffs is the paradigm now. Everybody wants to get in the playoffs, wants to win that tournament, and that didn't happen before. And so I think we're seeing things change in that direction. Speaking of that, Auburn missed out on a lot of money. Again, in the revenue distribution this year from the SEC, they get the basic money, which is like I think it was $61 million. But they don't get a cut of the bowl revenue because they weren't in the damn bowl. Can't make a bowl again. And so you miss out on all that revenue sharing, and it I don't know. Hornatius says Gus made Hut indifferent. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just babbling. I don't know. Maybe when I'm in it and it's October and we're playing big games every Saturday, it changes. It's fun. It's exciting. I can remember several times this past football season telling Courtney, like, I am so excited about this game, But I was really excited about this basketball game today. A grind says Hugh's got to make the college football playoff this year. Jesus, man. I feel like Jim Moore up here, but like playoffs. We're just trying to have a winning season, for Christ's sake. It's been that long, dude. It's been Gus. It's been Gus beating Mississippi State in the 2020 finale to go 6-4. It's the last time Auburn had a winning season. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Knuman says conference tournaments in basketball have not meant anything for years, yet they have not gone anywhere and do not appear to be ending. You're right. I used to be real into it. I remember when I was covering Kentucky back in the 90s, I was like, oh, they got to win this tournament. And you would hear people say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I was like, fuck yeah, it matters. Like, it's Catlanta. Like, we got to go down there and win it. And I don't know, man, from just the organizational stuff, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. I do not think that conference football championship games are going to, I bet you 5 years from now, they're going to be eliminated. I mean, there's still tons of money to be made in the playoff. Tons. And the bowls are still going to make money and all that kind of stuff. But Chip says Hughes got to get 9 wins minimum. I might go as low as 8, maybe. And I don't know why. I just feel like a low esteem girl in junior high that's just throwing caution to the wind and dating some total loser because I'm just trying to get my, I don't know I don't even know where I'm going with this, but maybe 8. Yabo says, with hindsight being 2020, if you can go back in time, do you still fire Gus? Fuck yes. Yes. And I love Gus. On a personal level, I really like Gus. You guys know how I feel about Gus. Well, Christy more so, but I like Gus too. Yes, it was time for him to go. The work that he's gotten done since he left Auburn doesn't indicate to me that like he was on the cusp of a breakthrough professionally, right? Like at UCF, he was merely mid, which is pretty much what he was here. Now he's at Florida State as a coordinator, and my guess is that he's going to be mid. He's still paired up with Herb Hand somehow. I don't understand that. So he was the wrong guy. I don't think he's the right guy to get Auburn to where it needed to go. Brian Harsin was, the less we say about that, the better. And then Hugh, I got questions about Hugh, but not about his recruiting. They have dudes. Me and Chip been saying this for years. Get dudes and win games. They got dudes now, okay? The roster's way better than it was. Now it's on them to coach well and get some wins, man. I feel like a stranger says at 8 wins, I'm meh, but not done. That's probably where I'm at. Less than 8, he's got to go. 8, I'm okay with, but I'm tepid. 9, I'm like, okay. Because at that point, they're probably in a decent bowl game, and we're kind of moving on, but Stoop Up says you fire Gus, but only when you had your new guy on the plane. Thank you. That's how things work, right? That's how you do business. That's how Bobby Louder did business because he's smart like that. He gets shit done. T-Roy Tiger says, oh, crap, talking football. The L was bad, but not terminal, Commodore. Come on, let's give it a laugh. Man. That's good shit. Daniel P says, quit talking football. That's fair. We just kind of started talking about it a little bit, and we'd already kind of gotten through everything with Florida. Let's give letter grades real quick. Auburn Tigers, Denver Jones, F. Worst game I've ever seen him play. Absolute dog shit. I should say dog shit. That's not fair. I'm sorry. He just didn't play good. 7 rebounds is not awful. 2 points on 0-4 shooting is really bad. 1 assist in 30 minutes is just unconscionable. He gets an F from me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say he was trash. I'm just saying he was really bad today. Like a drain on the system. Janai, for me, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a disparity of opinion in the chat about this as to whether he was a C or he was a B. I don't know. I think he was a B plus today. Nah, he's a B. He did get benched, not benched, but de-emphasized at an important part of the game, which was strange for a potential player of the year. You know what I mean? I still think he was a B, though. I mean, 18 points, 11 boards. That's not awful. 6 assists is fine. So I'm going to give him a B. I don't feel bad. Stu Pup thinks Z minus for Denver, which an F isn't. It doesn't say enough of the story because he's below an F. But I do apologize for saying trash. That's not cool. That's not cool. Mike says, no, Jay, he was dog shit. These guys are getting paid now. So, I mean, I feel a little bit more empowered to say stuff, but that's just not that cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. That's not right. Chad, for me, D. He's got to be better than this. 6 points on 2 of 6 shooting, 1 rebound from your wing, 2 assists, 1 turnover, played 19 minutes, minus 12. I'll be nice and give him a C minus. So we've got an F, a B, and a C minus. Miles Kelly leads the team in scoring with 22 points. Let's see. A couple other things coming in. Cassidy P gives Chad a D, which is fair. Miles Kelly, I don't know why I'm blah, blah, blah. He gives Miles Kelly a B and Dylan a B. Small Victory says de-emphasized, my new favorite saying. He wasn't benched. He was de-emphasized. Miles Kelly, I agree with Cassidy P on that. I think he gets a B today. 22 points on 8 of 18 shooting. I mean, he was in the game. I mean, I felt like he was mentally in the game from start to finish. 3 boards for your winger or shooting guard's not great. 1 assist, 0 turnovers is fine. 35 minutes played, and I thought he was playing as hard at the end as he was in the beginning. So for me, he gets a B. Could have been a little bit, maybe B plus. I don't know. It's hard to, maybe. Dylan, I know he was taking some hell earlier, but 5 points is not great for him. But 12 boards in 24 minutes, I mean, that's pretty good. B minus. Tahad was, at least he was fighting. Give him a B-ish. Stu Pup thinks Cardwell was a C plus, and I was going to give him a B. I think that's fair. Stu Pup also thinks Miles Kelly was an A minus. I will give Miles Kelly credit. He was absolutely into the game the whole way. He busted his ass every minute, I thought. CBM, he gives as a peppermint patty, a.k.a. a D minus. I don't understand that joke, but I love anything relating to peppermint patty. If it's the Peanuts character and not the candy. Simo, I mean, I don't know, 11 minutes. I'm surprised he played that much. I didn't even realize he played that much. 1 point, 1 board, like whatever. I don't even know. That's really worth a grade. Turtle played 1 segment. And then Chaney, I mean, 13 points on 6 of 9 shooting is actually pretty good. But 1 rebound for a power forward in 21 minutes? Like what? That's a triple single. 1 block, 2 steals is nice for Chaney. So there's not an A performer in this group, and there's really not you got a few B performers. Miles Kelly. I would probably still give Janai a B. I'd be tempted to give Dylan a B or maybe a B minus. Mike says he can't give Dylan a B until he hits at least half of his free throws. They're going to hack him every time. I think he's at like 30% now, so he's not even close. Cassidy Peace is like a perpetual shout down. $1 to Hornatius. Simo gets an incomplete. Somebody mentioned earlier, I'm not sure who it was. Let me see who it was. Oh, Yabo says, honestly, it felt like we got beat so much worse than we did. That is so true. I felt like Florida was so much better than Auburn today, and yet the final is 9 points. And that really surprises me. Grind notes that Florida's bigs outscored Auburn's bigs by 20 points, which is crazy. Stoop says Chaney was a C plus. He said, excuse me. Yeah, I think that's charitable. Although I know you're giving him credit for the 13 points on 6 of 9, which is not bad at all. But I think the other parts of his game, you needed more from him. Rebounding, 1 rebound in 21 minutes is crazy, and then maybe a little more physicality, you know. Yeah. Such a frustrating game. And just the way that Florida dominated such a long stretch of that game. I mean, Auburn played great in the very first segment, but then the rest of the half was bad. They give up 50, and then they cut it down to 40 in the second half, but shit. Chip says it felt like a 15 to 20 point loss, even though it was a 9-pointer. It felt worse than it was, I guess. Maybe a part of it is that Auburn had just won so many games in a row that was like, oh, they're impermeable. And I didn't think that. And you guys didn't actually think that. I think some people in the bunker did, but they're not impermeable, obviously. And when they don't have the dedication on defense, this is what can happen against a good team. I don't necessarily think that if they play this way against some of the other teams like Mississippi State or Ole Miss at home, I don't think they give up 90. If they're playing at their place, it's a different story. But Desperado says Chaney's a little scared of contact. If you want rebounds and you are as big and athletic as he is, you get the rebounds. You're exactly right. He needs more Rodman in him, right? Which is something that I think Dylan has done a good job of becoming more of a physical presence. And I don't think his problem today, Dylan, I'm talking about, was a lack of physicality. I think it was just, God, just get up to the free throw line and hit some buckets, you know? But 12 boards I'm good with. I think everybody is. I'd like to see a block or two maybe from him, but because he had 6 the other day. But just kind of a shithole game, honestly. I mean, just they played better in the second half. Actually outscored Florida by 1 in the second half, but let things get away in the last 10 minutes of the first half, and it was just tough to kind of get over that. Yeah, Janai didn't step up to the plate. I mean, 18 points is not bad, but it's more like the way you watch it. Yeah, he gets de-accentuated or de-emphasized at certain parts of that second half when you're thinking, okay, this is where he stands up and gets counted, you know, and he didn't see that tonight. Grind says his go-to is the fadeaway hook. Playing through contact isn't his game. That could be, you could say that about Janai a little bit, and you could also say that about Chaney. I'm not sure which one he's actually talking about there, but probably more about Chaney. But Stupep says Chaney struggles against length. Denver does as well. Knuman says motion to ban freezer reprise on the bunker. Do I have a second? I don't even know who that is. I don't recognize that handle. Let's see if there's any reports on this person. There are not. I'll have to take a look. Freezer reprise. And we'll take a look at that. Rob says, what grade do we give Howard? Didn't play tonight. Surprised a little bit, honestly. I think they could have benefited maybe. At least just kind of put him in there and see, you know, what if he could make a difference. I mean, it's not like any minutes you were giving to Simo at this point I think would have been worthwhile to see if Kai could have helped you, but Grind says he was talking about Chaney, about the his go-to move being the fall away. And that's, I mean, if you're Dirk Nowitzki, that's fine. If you're a generational talent like Dirk Nowitzki, who's 7 foot whatever he was and could hit fallaways for decades, or at least a decade, and be a great player, that's one thing. But Chaney's not exactly Dirk Nowitzki, so you'd like to see him be a little bit more of a face-up, you know, leaning toward the bucket, closer to the bucket, doing that kind of a thing. Knuman says, sorry, I'm not really being serious. I should not have said that. Oh, I didn't know. I haven't been following the bunker since I jump on the air with you guys, so I don't know. Blake says he can't second Knuman if I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Dude, I'm the mod and I don't know who that is. Ravin thinks that Jakai, had he been allowed to play in this game, would have been going to the hole hard. Stu Pup, on the other hand, thinks Florida would have put Kai Howard in a blender on D. Probably. I think Osimo is a better defender than Ja'Kai, even though Ja'Kai is 5 times the athlete Simo is. But Simo, he has a level of investment that maybe Ja'Kai doesn't have yet. It's going to take a little while. Dave Rocket Feller. I don't know why that name reminds me of Rapid Rob Feller. You know what I mean. Rapid Bob Feller. Their bigs took it to us. Hope that's not a sign of things to come, but I'm confident we'll bounce back next week. They were just hitting everything. I don't want to chalk it up to they were just hitting everything. I mean, they shot 48% from the floor and 39% from three. Those are good numbers. Those are the kinds of numbers that you win basketball games with, but it's not unconscious. Let's see. BP was just saying we don't look like the number one team. We didn't look like the number one team in the country. We didn't act like the number team in the country is what he said. So just getting some basic feedback there. Yabo says, who was it that put the bad cookies in the oven and ruined this game? I know who it is. It's a guy who drives a Treep and has a picture of his own house in his own house. That's who it is. All right, we need to take a look at the schedule as it is coming up, and it's something we need to discuss. As we move over to Ken Palm, I'm sure they're going to have a fucking field day with this. Going to drop Auburn to 17 probably. No, they just dropped Auburn to 2. So far, they'll find a way to make it further down. Let me take a gander at this schedule and get this over to you guys so we can talk about what's coming up. By the way, Ken Palm is, I think they still have Auburn at 15-3 in the league is their projection, which I think is the same as it was. So no change there. And by the way, your boy JG, I've said all along, I thought Auburn was going to go 15-3 in the league. And not that most of the people in this chat were not poo-pooing me because you guys are very, very realistic people. But I think some of the whatever, I need to come up with a nice diplomatic name for the people that get swept away in the moment. Kind of like what Stu Pup's doing today, but they do this every day. Stu Pup doesn't do this every day. Stu Pup's just pissed about this loss and the way it happened. But you know the people who are super reactive, and there's going to be people, if they were to lose one more game, there would be some people that would say, is BP the right guy for this program? You know how it is. I got Vanderbilt on Tuesday. I had Vanderbilt. This is not going to be fun. But Ken Palm still feels very confident that Auburn wins that game. And I think I'm confident too. Now, if they play like this, they'll play the way they did tonight. I don't love it. But Auburn doesn't play like this very much, right? Really, I mean, you look at the Duke game. I thought they played a pretty good game. And they just got beat at Duke by a team that was playing a little bit better than they were. I mean, there was no embarrassment there. And so I look at some of these other games. I mean, you're going to have to look at a game that Auburn won where they played like ass, kind of. I mean, I don't know. Like Iowa State was still a good game. I mean, Houston they finished good in the Houston game. Like, you haven't seen Auburn play like this. I mean, the game at Texas was kind of bothersome because they kind of laid down the last 5 minutes. The game at Georgia got bad because they laid down in the last minute. But in this Florida game, I thought there were long stretches. But you think they'll play better. I think at the bottom line is I think they'll play better at Vanderbilt and win that game. And then you've got at Alabama, which is, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be tough, man. Grind is right. South Carolina was an ass game. South Carolina played off their ass in that game. And Auburn didn't play that great, but still won the game. By the way, the Alabama game is going to be a week from today at the airplane hangar, Cessna 172 RG hangar. And it's going to be 3 o'clock in the afternoon for our friends in the Central Time Zone, which is where I live. For our friends in the Eastern Time Zone, that'll be 4 o'clock on ESPN. And who knows where Kanuman is. He could be in Thailand. He could be in Alaska. He could be in Irkutsk. He could be in Laos. He could be in Perth, Australia. You never know. I'm going to leave it to him to figure out what time it'll be wherever he's located at that time. Could be in the Mariana Islands. It could be. Could be in Togo. I consider unlikely, but he could be in Burkina Faso. Now, I don't think he's been there lately. And I wonder what the temperature would be in Burkina Faso this time of year, but I bet you it's probably arid. I'll leave it at that. Vanderbilt, let's go ahead and just kind of speculate on the wins and losses here. I think a W at Vanderbilt, L at Alabama, W against the Arkansas Razorbacks at home, W against the Georgia Bulldogs at home, and a W against the Ole Miss Rebels at home. I love Auburn at home. Cassidy Pieces, JGT over here naming countries from the board game Risk when I say Irkutsk. Absolutely, you know where that's coming from, G. So I've got Auburn going on a little run here, winning, what is that, 5 of the next 6. So I have obviously this loss from Florida ain't going away, and the loss at Alabama is what I see happening. So that'd be 2, and then I think they lose one of the Kentucky Texas A&M games, and then you're right where you're supposed to be, 15-3, and that's enough to win the league, I would think. Let's see. Feel Like a Stranger has given us quotes from BP via Stulte. They did a great job of throwing it out of the ball screen. We had a game plan that we thought was going to be effective, and it wasn't. So, we watched this happen, right? Auburn was balls deep in trying to highly, highly pressure the DHOs and the screens up high, right? They were just going to disrupt it by just blitzing it, basically. Mesh charging it, as Gus would say. Mesh charge, pretty big. And Florida was able to pass out of it. They didn't see stuff on tape suggesting that Florida was great at passing out of high-pressure situations like that, and they did. They did a great job with it, and I think that kind of screwed it up. And we've talked about that a bunch in the show, and now it looks like BP saw the same thing I saw. Or I saw the same thing BP saw. That's what we should say, yeah. Uvid says, none of this matters if Auburn loses in the first round in March. What's up, Debbie Downer? Jeez. If we all get hit by a comet, none of this will matter, right? If that asteroid comes in 2035 or whatever, we're fucked anyway, right? Stupup says, I think we lose the next 2. Wow. At Vanderbilt and at Alabama losses. And they lose both at UK and A&M. Last home game against Alabama, a toss-up. That would put Auburn at 14-4 in the league, at least going into the it would be 13-4, I guess, going into the Alabama game at the end there. Yeah, that'd be a tough one. I've said for a while I think Auburn's going to win the conference regular season championship with a win against Alabama at home in the regular season finale. And by the way, I'm thinking mighty seriously about taking March 4th off. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that, but that is going to be that's the anniversary of me and my wife's first date. 33 years ago. March 4th, 1992. That is not a significant anniversary of that. But we did go up to, we did our anniversary. No, we went on our first date at Logan's Roadhouse in Lexington, which no longer exists. Well, Logan's does, but not the actual place we went. And we went to Logan's in Prattville last year. And we tweeted it out, and Logan sent us a bunch of shit. I thought that was really cool. Sent us like a bunch of cups and gift cards and swag. D-Lucky says, I think we can't discount the golden factor for as shit as our game plan was. Florida had the exact right approach to beat us. I mean, I think that's definitely part of it. But, I mean, they've been doing this. It's not like Todd just got the job last week, though. He played him, last year and this year. I mean, it's starting to be old hat. I felt kind of weird asking BP about it in the press conference yesterday because it was like, yeah, I mean, it's weird playing Todd. We like Todd. We love Todd. But, we've played him a bunch. I don't know if it's been a bunch, though. Was it like 3 times now? Something like that. It's crazy to think that Todd Golden, the guy, I mean, he was like the 3rd assistant here, is now the Florida coach and doing a hell of a job. I was looking for a picture earlier of the 1998-99 guys, and I couldn't find it, but I did find this gem of my man, Malik, being introduced at a basketball game with a bunch of the other young guys years ago, long before he became the Liberty Star and the NFL guy. Absolutely love Malik. Such great self-awareness. Feel like a stranger notes that it is Todd's third year at Florida. Thank you Thank you for keeping me straight on that. I forgot the dude's name who's standing next to Malik in that shot. If I had a multiple choice, I would be able to pick it out. But he's from Florida, and he ended up having, I think cancer maybe, but he's okay. But I can't remember his name to save my life. I'm telling you, the names are getting away from me now. These are football players we adore. Yeah. And Yabo just finds a way to be mad at Pat Adams, even though he had nothing to do with the game today. I like that. Just find a way to blame him. Okay, I guess we're going to wrap it up there, guys. The next stream will be Tuesday night for the game against the hated Commodores, although I like the Commodores for obvious reasons because I am a Commodore myself. That game is going to be contested at, well, for me, 6 o'clock. For our friends in the Eastern Time Zone, 7 o'clock on the SEC Network. So that's the early game on Tuesday. And then we will, whatever happens there, we'll be gearing up for the showdown in the airline hangar next Saturday against the Alabama Crimson Tide. And nobody can tell me what his name is, the guy next to Malik. I'm sure you guys would know. I'm so frustrated. I can't remember this. Yabo says Keenan Thompson is the guy in the photo. Thank you, Yabo. That is not it. Glenn Dennis is here. What up, bro? Says legs weren't there today. Let's get him next week. I love it. That's the right attitude. I mean, you lose the game and it sucks, but the season's not over. Not by a long stretch. No problem at all. You just pick it back up and get it going. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. I will be out tonight hanging out with my daughter's home. She had to have a procedure yesterday. It went great. We found out we got a lot of great news. And so we'll be hanging out with her and her boyfriend tonight, and then I will we'll be on the bunker doing our thing and be getting ready for this game at Vanderbilt, in which we hope the Auburn Tigers summon a better performance, which I do think will happen. If you guys are out tonight, be sure and stay safe. Make great decisions when you're out there. Stu Pup says he played guard and transferred out. That is absolutely true. He was an interior lineman. I can't remember his name, but he was cool. Anyway, I'll see you guys then. Till then, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and be legendary. See y'all.